Yes, let me talk to you about our friends at Fair Lease, and I do mean friends. Our good friend Danny over there, and Matthew, who Blake recently met, as he has started his Fair Lease process. Now, what are you leasing out there, bud?
Cars. They're leasing cars.
That's good news. That's good news.
Is that what
So
you were trying to set me up with?
Yeah,
Matthew's trying to get me set up with a car.
People lease all sorts of stuff. It's not readily available and obvious in the name, but what is that it's fair. So contact them at fairlease.org. We've heard from a couple listeners who have done this. Like Robert, I've been wanting a new car. Matthew at Fair Lease gave me white glove service. Super easy. Told him what I wanted within a week. Boom. Chevy Tahoe right in my driveway, delivered by Matthew himself.
Can I tell you about Matthew? He's the most patient man I've ever dealt with because I'm not an easy customer. But he's very patient, asking the right questions, waiting on me. Yeah. He's not going to, demand answers right away. He's made this process very easy for me.
So even if you're morphing into your local HOA hardo dad,
who me?
Fair Lease will make it fair for you at fairlease.org.
Not only were you 13 out of 13, but all of them were sharp and right where you wanted to throw them. Do you know that in warm-ups, if you're going to have a day like that, like a starting pitcher or something?
No. Warm-ups not really, but when I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
Care to expand on that?
I just woke up feeling real dangerous. Yeah.
You're the funniest person I've ever met, Baker Mayfield. Signed me, old media guy.
Yeah, it's all great if you are winning games and you're 13 for 13, but if you're not, then you need to show a little more maturity, and we're going to usher you out the door and just turn our whole franchise upside down trying to find a guy who we think is more mature. I don't know. What about a guy who has like 40 sexual assault allegations against them at the point?
Somehow Baker's failure yesterday is already about the Browns.
But he's probably more mature, right?
How are we talking about the Browns right now?
Just Baker's on the mind.
Hey, pour some honey on him, right?
I'm Dan McDowell.
I'm Jake Kemp.
I'm Blake Jones.
It's all fun and games when it's Dak effing everything up. Where's the honey?
And along with Danny Bayless.
Danny Bayless.
Heavy metal Bayless.
Who's
get ready.
Handling the video today. We're broadcasting live to tape from high atop my garage. The day after the Baker fix was in, the NFL didn't want him to go any farther. He gets a lot of ratings, but
let's see how he works this one out.
The playoffs are going to get big ratings anyway.
Okay.
And so they're trying to give Washington
ownership.
The new ownership,
yeah.
A little kiss as they're coming in for Dan Snyder. They're
getting
Jayden
that
Daniels.
New
stadium. Yeah, get him a quarterback who will probably be out of the league
after
in 5 years.
So the script writers told Baker to fumble.
Boy, what a colossal video that is.
I was just gonna say though, you got to get the command skins in because it is the place to see and be seen, and you need more of that through the playoffs. So
the command skin.
Back to that play, hilarious. Very, very Romo is a good way to put it.
Yeah, it just looked very Romo.
Yeah, or maybe very what I got used to from Cooper Rush down the stretch.
Rush would fumble a snap on you.
Remember we played that clip of Brian Schottenheimer on the sideline with boy, you love putting that ball on the ground, don't you? Fortunately, you usually fall on it. I was just laughing the other day thinking about Brian Schottenheimer. DC and I were joking around about this, and apparently this is going to be pertinent today because not only will the Cowboys likely have a new offensive coordinator unless Jerry was just so taken with Brian Schottenheimer that he retains him when they hire a new head coach, as Mike McCarthy is gone.
So wait, that's official?
That is official, and I know it's official because it's coming from Tommy P. Pelissero, who's McCarthy's guy.
Oh, yeah. Or is it McCarthy putting that out?
Well, one or the other, but it says, hey,
but then
there's no further negotiations. We're done. They were talking about duration, term. But you knew this whole thing was poisoned as soon as Jerry was like, yeah, a lot of people think you should just get paid by the win.
Yeah, he wants the incentive-based coaching contract.
Yeah. He's like, and then Jane Slater was like, yeah, but wouldn't other teams just not offer that?
Yeah, that's the whole bit.
Sure.
That's the whole
market,
capitalism thing here, yeah.
An understanding of market. But no, Brian Schottenheimer is a funny one because everybody knows the NFL. Everybody knows. Rampant nepotism, even more than the normal business world. And most teams will try to guard against that a little bit and not just be so blatantly obvious about it.
Like list off, well, no, he's done this. He's got a bunch of accomplishments.
Then they asked him about Brian Schottenheimer, and he's like, his dad was awesome. And he's
wife, like, I don't know anything about him.
No. I remember seeing him when he was a kid.
I knew his dad.
His wife was a sweetheart.
Dad's a good dude. So
God rest her soul.
So McCarthy's out.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys haven't said anything?
No. I mean, first it was Schefter this morning. Cowboys, Mike McCarthy eligible to talk to other teams after midnight Tuesday. Still haven't been any negotiations on a new deal with Dallas. He's going to get interest from Chicago and New Orleans. And then Pelissero hopped in this morning or about half an hour ago. Mike McCarthy is out as Cowboys coach. The sides couldn't agree on length of contract, and McCarthy will pursue other opportunities.
That means his agent's already been talking to other teams and knows I can beat that. Else, you would think.
Yeah.
Unless his agent is making a colossal mistake.
Which happens. But also I have to finish the Pelissero tweet. He leaves Dallas with a winning record in 3 playoff appearances.
Yeah.
That's important context.
What's a playoff winning record?
I don't see that on here.
Oh, okay. 3 playoff appearances. Yeah. Boy, I thought I had the Cowboys breaking news for you that you didn't know. I was just reading a PFF article this morning that said Brandon Aubrey wins the PFF Special Teams Player of the Year.
Nice.
And I guess he's in fact gotten the highest PFF grade ever.
Wow.
And that's something
for a kicker, beating Justin Tucker's 2021, Justin Tucker's 2016, and Chris Boswell this year then is 4th of all time. But
I think that's really cool, and it's something we've touched on with him. And it frankly blows my mind, these sorts of the way that statistics and negotiations and all these sort of things work. More than any other position, every play is different for a kicker. They should not all just go into one column. Even distance, you know what I mean? To just say, like, well, this year I went X for X. That's my efficiency. Pay me on that. Like, that's insane.
Oh, okay, 30 for 35 or whatever I was in field goals this year.
Yeah, because with other players, they watch the tape.
You have a coach that is not aggressive, so you kick a lot of 20-yard field goals.
Yeah, or a coach that's like, hey, I think you might be able to hit from 70. F it, let's try it.
Right.
Well, that's
now
just a miss.
You're going to have less, yeah.
Yeah, whereas with regular players, they're watching the tape so in depth, they have a pretty good idea what you are, more than just statistics. But with kickers, I get the sense that, you know, based on what he's told us and him telling us that Banger will get upset about net average, that it's like the teams are like, well, what's your made for miss? So that's cool.
So I thought it was cool. And so I texted him this story this morning.
What a dork.
Why is that a dork? Like, hey.
I'm just kidding. It's really
Hey, Brandon,
cool.
look at this.
I'm making fun of you. I think it's cool that we're friends with him.
Would he want this? I don't know.
Did
Maybe.
you tell him about Bones' birthday?
No.
Okay, because you kind of started the track.
You can't do both.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want to over-text him, but this is pretty rare. It's a big thing, and it's better than Justin Tucker ever and all this. So I thought, okay,
it is cool.
He's our buddy. Let's send it to him, just FYI, and that's what I put under it, FYI. That's it. Don't care. And he wrote back, that's pretty neat. Because he's probably went to a mailbox and looked for his PFF Brandon Aubrey Best Special Teamer Ever award, and it is empty in there.
Yeah, but he probably copied that text and sent it to his agent.
I was going to say,
possibly.
It probably is the case that agents do use stuff like that now. Because the NFL, the teams, they trust PFF because they use them. Like, every team has an insane PFF package, RIP to me having access to it, that I'm positive agents use.
I'll bet you, too, he doesn't. Well, I don't know. I mean, money's money. Life. You got kids. You got a future. I was just trying to think. Does he go on the free agent market eventually and try to get the absolute best deal? Or is it cool that he lives in his hometown? All of his family is here. Everything's been going so great. I think we've got to contribute to that.
Sure.
And might he say, can we just work out a deal that we're all happy with here and make it a multi-year deal? And I don't know.
You might have to ask the pilot about this.
The pilot?
The wife.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I mean, though. Does she want to pick up? And
right.
You got the grandbaby and the grandparents there and all that, and I don't know. Well, anyway, congrats to Brandon Aubrey.
Not so much to Mike McCarthy.
Well,
or
maybe.
Or maybe congrats, yeah.
Yeah, maybe he has a feel that.
Don't you think this was his decision?
Well, I think he probably didn't want to coach on 1 or 2 years of guaranteed money.
Okay, whose decision? Yes. If the ticket doesn't offer, like they won't, whose decision is it to leave?
Or like a basketball team that had like a president and CEO, and they had been hired to kind of right the ship of the organization, and then a new person bought the team, and that person's contract came up, and they're like, why are you here? Did that person leave the team?
Whose decision, yeah. Like you said, though, if it's the Cowboys are saying, we want to offer you a 2-year deal or a 4-year deal with incentives based on playoff success.
That's probably what happened.
And then you say, though, it's Mike McCarthy's decision to leave. Well, I don't know. Did the Cowboys actually make that decision? Because they knew I am offering a deal that no one with this resume would accept.
Dude, almost no one at
maybe
all.
Bones.
Maybe.
Yeah, but what if they offer a market value deal that is very respectable, and Mike says it's not worth getting paid what a normal coach gets paid because I have to deal with you idiots?
Yeah, I mean,
but then it is his decision because that's a normal deal that a guy in that.
That's different.
Yeah,
and it's already. Let's say it's.
I'm
already,
speculating that that's not the case.
Boy, I think McCarthy is real sick of the last 2 years.
It can all be the case. It can be the case that he's sick of it, and that he's like, look, if I'm coming back here, I'm not coming back here on a 1 to 2 year deal where you're constantly hanging this over my head. It's already hard enough here.
Yeah, I think the past 2 or 3 months we've seen a guy really in love with his players in the locker room and what he had going on, but over time it just became not worth the circus of reporters having to decide, do I want to talk to Jerry after the game or do I want to talk to the head coach? And then the reporter runs, hey, Jerry just said this. What's your response? I think he got real tired of that. Really tired of that.
Hey,
yeah, just boy, yeah. Well, I've gone through the year of the Cowboys, which we'll do later this week, and just some of the BS this guy's had to deal with. I don't blame him for going somewhere else.
I don't look, I'm not upset necessarily they're firing McCarthy. I probably would have brought him back at the end of the day just because I know what else they're going to do as the alternative. But to continue the theme of the year, they bungled the hell out of this. First of all, if they're going to fire him, they should have fired him last year and just got going on it. But then now it's like it's a pretty disrespectful move. I think I saw Saad say that. Like, so all you do for the last 2 months is like, this guy's great. He's the best. We love him. He's done everything right. And then you decide that you want to move on from him, and you don't even do it in the normal way, like a week ago.
Yeah, you deny his request.
You deny his request to talk to other teams, and then you let him go.
Yeah,
a week later.
Well,
like, that's
you denied his request
and
tried to, get the offer that you wanted to get through.
So yet again,
I don't know why you would think that he would accept that, though.
You mean like thinking that if you just strung this out, you were going to get a bargain on Dak or whatever? No, it's never going to work. You always end up paying what other people are going to pay and maybe more.
See, I can't sit here and be upset that McCarthy's gone because I did want him gone last year. But it does make you think, what are they going to do?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Vrabel's gone.
Like when Belichick was out there, obviously I was fired up. Although Belichick's always still out there. He's money can talk to him. But if you were kind of nickel and diming your head coaching position here for the last how many years?
All
15, 20 since Parcells.
Yeah, true.
You haven't shown that you have any respect for the head coaching position. Especially a head coach who's going to come in and say, I need things done in a certain way. And I think that's the real way to get a franchise culture to change is the head coach. Unless you have a real solid franchise culture like Pittsburgh. I want to say like Baltimore, but maybe part of that was the head coach that they brought in. But I think they just brought in a head coach that fits that. It feels like Baltimore was doing this previous to.
But like the classic, Shanahan wanted John Lynch, right?
Well, yeah, they brought in Shanahan and said, "You do what do you want?"
Yeah.
Okay, I will hire. The head coach hired the GM. That's Belichick style, because he's like, I know the players I want, the scheme I want to run, down to. The type of player I want at backup, defensive line. And instead of, a GM's vision, and then I have to make work, like Mike McCarthy has to make things work, whatever he gets. If Mike McCarthy went into last offseason as the Shanahan-type power head coach, he would have been directing his GM, or they would have been working much more closely together. Like, they would never have re-signed Zeke.
No.
They probably would have tried to go get another wide receiver.
Or gotten his star receiver in camp.
Get this deal done. How much better do you think this can get if we let this drag out? I mean, San Francisco had a star receiver holding out of camp for a little while as well, but not star to the same magnitude.
Not as important.
That was Ayuk, right?
Yeah, but I think there was more uncertainty of whether he would be back or be traded. I think there were more everyone knew CD was coming back.
Right. They were talking Ayuk trade, and that was a possibility. So,
well, what a mess. What a mess. I don't know. I mean, everybody. You've got a team like the Bears who seemingly wants to interview Danny. Like they've got a list of 100 people long, and now here's the Cowboys. Like, hey, what are we doing here? Doing interviews?
Well, I want to keep talking Cowboys, but let's say this is brought to us by CommunityDFW.com. Community Mechanical is the name of this HVAC company. Heat, ventilation, air conditioning. Right?
Correct.
So Community Mechanical, they're our guys. They've come out to our houses as well. In fact, they kind of possibly kept my house from exploding. I don't know if that's really exploding, but
we're alive right now because of them.
Yeah.
They found, like, they just came out for like a, what do you call it? Preventative maintenance type thing. Kind of checked everything out. I haven't had anybody out here in a few years. The exhaust duct from my furnace was dumping carbon monoxide into my attic. Which was kind of going out the top, but, they were like, this could be really bad.
Feels like Blake and I need to call Brunig on you.
No doubt, man.
Community Mechanical can help you. 469-667-7290, CommunityDFW.com. They will do full preventative maintenance in both the spring and the fall to make sure your HVAC prepared for the extreme temperatures of summer and winter. And right now is a great time to get them out to kind of get you ready for another big cold spell, which is on its way here this month. So Community Mechanical. Thank you, Community Mechanical. They're great dudes, big listeners as well. So we try to support those who support us. So let's all keep it in the family here. Give them a call. Have them come out to your house. So, didn't really think they should have brought him back after last year. And you did have a Vrabel out there. Right now.
And a Belichick.
And a Belichick. The Belichick thing, obviously I would have gone for that right away because it seemed like you had a playoff-bound team. Now, Belichick would have probably said, hey, let's sit together and take a look at this roster, and you know what? No, I don't want this running back. I just had him, and did you see him in New England? Like, you're watching the video and stuff? That's all you have to do. It's all available to everybody. All right, you don't want to watch all the video? That takes a lot of time. Here, let me pull up this page of stats. Okay? I mean, he's clearly diminishing, but Jerry thought they could sell a lot of jerseys, and they did. They did sell those jerseys. But
here's now what I'm hoping for. And even my realistic scenarios are very unrealistic because other than me pulling up just names of guys who have coached NFL teams who currently don't, like I don't know what that is right now. Let's say the Steelers move on.
Tomlin?
I don't think Tomlin fits here, do you?
I don't think so.
Who does?
Well, that's the thing.
Kellen Moore?
Yes, we're trying to evaluate who the Cowboys will bring in.
I would take Kellen Moore in a heartbeat. I think you can make that work. I think he's awesome. I understand that he
fits the bill because he knows the situation here.
Exactly.
He's been here.
Been here, coached here, played here.
They already know him.
Yeah.
Like, you're not bringing in Ben Johnson.
Who
might have these crazy ideas.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to rock the boat, be that as a young guy or a Tomlin. They like Kellen Moore.
He knows Dak.
And I'll tell you, as much as we worried about him on the leader of men standpoint, everybody who played with him and for him, Zeke, I remember even being like, I don't know how he does it.
Kellen Moore?
Yeah, but he's got a way of getting to us.
He was like 90-2 in college or something, right? As a quarterback.
50-1, I want to say.
Is that it?
I think so. 50-1 regular season, something. But anyways, I don't know what the list is.
Garrett?
Dude, we riot.
I saw he was crushing it in picks last night when they put the standings up on Sunday Night Football.
He was crushing it?
Yeah.
Or crushed it?
No, he was like 18-3.
Oh.
So maybe he's still got it. But who is it, though?
Bones is not out of the question.
Bones is not out of the question. I don't think that'd be a horrible idea.
Their best unit, you could argue, this year.
I mean, I certainly hope not just
and the players love him.
Right.
That goes to I was thinking about, as we go through NFL games today, players love Dan Quinn. When's the last time you thought that's the feeling coming out of the Cowboys locker room?
Yeah, but
I don't know that players love playing for McCarthy.
I don't know that players love playing for Parcells until they're retired either, though. But Garrett for sure, and that was a long run. But you could probably say that about previous Campo, Gailey. Because for the players to love the coach, they have to know that the coach matters. And they have to know that that's the guy they have to respect and have a relationship with. I don't know that guys love Belichick, but they at least respected him. And later, definitely, in retrospect, said, I loved playing for that guy. But McCarthy's just kind of there. Now he wins a lot, so that helps. But no, I don't know that mojo moment anybody's like, boy, the turning point in my career is when I heard the Austin Powers theme in training camp that year.
Will McClay?
That'd be wild. Do you get a draft pick?
He's been a coach.
For elevating someone from in your own...
He's been a head coach with the USFL or whatever they had.
Arena
football.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Dan Quinn. The year after they let Dan Quinn go, they fire McCarthy. Dan Quinn wins a road playoff game.
Yeah.
That's Sean Payton 2.0.
Was Sean Payton?
Is it not?
No, he wasn't there last year. He was Denver already.
The coordinator that got away?
Yeah. There's something. And Kellen Moore may be that if he ends up going somewhere else. Because, I don't know if you've looked, but the Eagles' offense, while very well equipped, is pretty good. So that's an option. I mean, you're going to get the names like Robert Saleh because he has coached before. He is a tough guy. Do wonder how that Syrian flag or Lebanese flag would play here, but whatever.
Jimmy's 82.
Yeah. What's Barry got?
Yeah, Switzer.
It's not there's not a lot of guys who would fit the mold. McCarthy was like made in a lab.
Who's the Zimmer kind of was talking as if he's out the door.
Yeah,
I could easily, but if he's back, I could easily
as head
see him
coach.
doing that. Yeah.
Like, hey, you're just overseeing everything.
So they do the classic Cowboys deal where they fire McCarthy late and replace him the defensive coordinator like a year after they should have fired McCarthy and replaced him with the defensive coordinator. But back to Bones real quick. I'm not just saying this because of Brandon. It would be awesome if they could retain him, no matter who the head coach is, because he's legitimately good and exciting. And they've got Terp, they've got Aubrey. Those are guys that.
Well, they don't have Terp.
Oh, is he free?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. I should have known that. I could see them bringing him back. Jerry likes highlights.
Yeah, they should.
I can see him wanting a bit more than he's worth as well, because now we're using me on offense too.
Yeah. What's that about? Yeah, look at this number going up a little bit.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying Tomlin. I'm saying he's like, you know what? Another premier franchise. I'll just deal with it.
They might have to trade for Tomlin, though.
Is that the deal?
Have you heard that?
No.
Yeah.
I know he's not free, but I don't know how.
Yeah, the thought that you could trade for a head coach.
McCarthy's from Pittsburgh.
Sign and trade?
You could trade him today, yeah, because McCarthy you still have a 1 day to negotiate.
Get the S&T. What a freaking mess.
But going back to your stance last week, Jake, about how this is a family business, it's not going to be an exciting name. It's going to be a stable name.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever, there were even rumors that Sark could go to the NFL or Ben John. I mean, these exciting names. Sure, that's not stable.
What about this is an unstable version of stable? What about Feet Man?
Rex Ryan?
Okay, I will tell you from
he's like actively
it's
pimping
embarrassing
for the Jets job.
It's been happening all year. It's been happening since I was in rehab watching that show, and it's definitely I saw it this Saturday morning.
Yeah, this weekend.
Yeah, they're talking about the Jets or the Vrabel hire, and he's like, I'll be kicking his ass twice a year. It's like, dude, this is embarrassing.
If you get veneers that look like his, I might fight you.
That's the thing. That's the risk. That's the risk. You get Steve-O or Rex Ryan chompers, and you look like a joke. You almost need to do like the get a B on a test thing to not be a cheater.
Like his teeth can't fit in his mouth.
I know. Looks like he's trying to eat them all the time.
Yeah, I don't know how he talks through them.
He's trying to eat his teeth?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's like. It looks like Pam Oliver face whenever you end up like that.
Aaron Glenn?
I would sign up for that tomorrow. And Aaron Glenn was a Parcells guy, wasn't he?
I think so.
So they probably have.
Who's picked the pick to click right now to replace Mike Zimmer? Certainly that would be a hire from within.
Mike Zimmer? If the Cowboys move on from McCarthy?
No, Zimmer, if he does walk away as DC and retires and all that.
Well, I mean, it's impossible to say without.
I was just thinking they were going to – is there a hot defensive assistant that the Cowboys have now that they thought would probably step up to DC?
Yeah.
But
Al Harris, yeah.
But does Al Harris feel like could be a Cowboy coach to you?
If you're wanting to get a guy that the players love playing for, then yeah.
I mean, I am, but
do you think Jerry would instinctively call another black guy in the leagues like, you don't have to do that? He's like, well, Marvin's already on the phone. Like, if they hired Al Harris, is Jerry just so used to any time he does an interview, he has to satisfy the Rooney rule with a token phone call? It's like, you hired a black guy. You don't have to do it. Al Harris seems awesome, but I mean,
well, what if we actually?
Risky.
Who is the Bengals coach? Marvin Lewis. Actually hire him. Look, we called you 7 times in the past.
I wonder what he's up to.
You've been the only guy that we pretend interviewed, and now let's just go ahead and give you the job.
I mean, to be honest, speaking of the Bengals, I thought before November that they were going to unfairly and incorrectly move on from Zach Taylor. And I guess they still could.
Yeah, they kind of rallied hard.
They did.
That might be the defense sucked, but, you know.
And it's a week later now, so you're probably not fired him now. No, what a mess.
Jeff Saturday? You want a guy
what's the equivalent? Witten.
Come on, man. No way.
I'm not excited, but I'm excited that you said that name because that's one that I haven't thought of. in the family type thing.
It would be incredible.
Sean Lee?
Yeah, I don't know. What's Keith Brookings doing?
Romo.
Any other whites?
Didn't Zach Taylor play here?
Dude, Witten.
That would be awesome.
Do
I don't
not-
know that it would work, but even as a fan, knowing it might not work, I'd be fired up as a fan because it's Jason effing Witten. He's Mr. Cowboy to me.
Dion?
See, now he's excited. Whoa. We are.
That's a splat, Jerry.
So
you know what? I made a splash
traded
20
for
years ago with this man. It was a free agent signing. The biggest.
Oh,
that's
right,
when
yeah.
Steven pushed me against the wall and told me not to do it. And you know what? He did that again just yesterday. He said, "No way should I lowball McCarthy and sign Deion Sanders." But here we are. Deion, welcome back to the family. This is where you've always belonged. You know what? I've lived in Prosper all these years.
Now,
Right by this cool Ford dealership. What?
Do you want to introduce Michael Irvin as receivers coach that day, or wait a week?
Well, speaking of the playmaker, we're not live today, but I'll tell you, it's 11:56. This news came down about an hour ago. Whatever show it is that Michael Irvin does now, I can't tell you I know for sure. He will be – you will see a clip tonight of him screaming about Deion Sanders. About how, hey, look, there's only one man to call. You know that number.
It's Deion Sanders!
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's what's happening today, I promise you. And I'm not against it.
Okay. On my list in my head is...
Can we not do Belichick, please?
Belichick's way down the list, but
Okay.
he's on my list in my head.
Okay.
But it's got to have familiarity. That's the way Jerry works. So it is Deion's on there. Jason Witten is on there. Kellen Moore is on. We've talked this out now.
Aaron Glenn is still – that's an option. I mean, I know he was a Cowboy.
Aaron Glenn,
and
let's
he was
put Aaron
a
Glenn
Parcells
on there.
guy. Yeah. But he's also very highly sought after.
Let's pop Aaron Glenn up pretty high.
I think he's from Texas. He knows Parcells, and he was on the team briefly. So I would not be – but the problem there is going to be –
And he's worked hand in hand with Dan Campbell.
Dude,
he's seen that culture. I want to bring that culture here. I want to bite
100%.
knees.
And I promise you, Micah would be fired up about that. That's a big factor.
They've weathered this storm of tremendous injuries over there throughout this year to still secure the number one seed.
Yeah, for sure. On defense, for sure.
Yes, that's the problem that other teams are also looking for.
Other teams?
A head coach. So who do we got out there?
I
Bears, the Jets,
Saints.
the Jags.
Jags, yeah.
Jags officially fired him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Peterson. Vegas, the Saints.
I mean, depends on how you look at it, but I would say the Cowboys are one of the best of those jobs, right? I mean, obviously you've got Caleb in Chicago. You've got whatever you still think of Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville, but the Cowboys, if healthy this year, are still a probably 10-win team, and they won 12 the 3 years before that. So you're in a pretty good situation. Even though Dak is Dak, he's probably not getting any better. It's not like you're having to try to figure everything out all over again. Good times.
Yeah.
We'll follow this developing story.
Yeah, okay. So,
I have a
want
massive.
to do a weekend check before we do
I do.
Before we get to NFL talk for the day? We might have an NFL talk guest come on with us, Landry Locker from Houston, as Houston moves on, and they will actually get to play on Saturday again next week.
I love it, dude.
No
Right when I
way.
saw the graphic.
Have they ever had a Sunday playoff game?
Did you see that their social team tweeted out a clip?
No.
It was it's from the Real Bros of Simi Valley, which is a pretty niche show, but I think a lot of our audience has seen it. But the team acknowledges that they hate it and that everyone associates them with it. Like it's just a Photoshop of a guy with the Texans logo, and just Saturday early game is the little babies yelling out like, "What's your problem, little bro?" They know when they play.
We do have a sponsor for Weekend Check.
Ownwell.
So I went to Ownwell and actually was looking to lower my property tax bill. Have you seen those bills? My goodness.
Insane.
And really, it pretty quickly told me, look, with your situation, this looks okay, and I don't think we can do a lot for you. So they will tell you that right away. Just sign up in 3 minutes, and there's no cost.
Now, what did that cost you, though?
Well,
Nothing.
He said that part.
Yeah, zero,
Oh.
no cost. You just sign up, no
Wow.
cost. But they do save an average of $1,100 for their customers. Actually, $1,148 exactly.
86% of customers receive that reduction. That is a hit rate. That gets you in the Hall of Fame right there. Batting 860, I think. You're the Hall of Fame guy, though.
So I got the Ownwell portal up in front of me, and it says ways to save: tax protest, exemption, insurance, internet bill, electric bill, mortgage, and equity. I've got check marks all next to all of them because they've checked on all of them for me.
Incredible.
Like they'll send you a random email that'll say, hey, look, we can now save you this on this bill, correct?
Yeah, a month ago I got an email out of the blue saying, hey, we can save you on your internet bill.
So just go there, ownwell.com/thedumbzone. Ownwell.com/thedumbzone. They've helped us. They can help you. Thank you, Ownwell. All right, well, I don't have a big weekend check. I know you do. But I will tell you that the winter weather, the freeze, all that kind of stuff, I guess that hit Wednesday night, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then Thursday, we each broadcast from our homes. Well, you stayed over in Wiley because
It's far.
that is a far drive. And then Thursday night was another big freeze. And really, it kind of was raining throughout that day. And so the ground was still covered with snow, but then it was like the mushy, wet snow. And then everything froze up Thursday night. And so Friday morning, just a sheet of ice. And I swear to God, the garbage and recycling didn't come by here. I usually can hear it and all that. Anyway, I never brought out the garbage and recycling on Friday just because there's no reason to. There's no way they're running today.
Oh, no.
And so now I put it all out for Saturday. Well, they didn't come collect it Saturday. So maybe they did roll through here and on the ice and I didn't even know it. Anyway, if you miss one recycling garbage day, at least if you have two kids, they tend to really fill those things up. I think recycling, I've come around just based on people saying stuff to me that it's probably a scam. But it makes me feel good. Mm-hmm. So I rinse out the milk carton and I throw it in the recycling bin. I rinse out every can, I throw it in the recycling bin, whatever. The recycling bin is overflowing. So now I have 2 boxes in the garage that are also now overflowing with recycling, along with the giant bin. The trash is sitting outside. I got animals ripping it apart.
Dude.
Because I only have 1 can. And then anything else has to go in the bag outside around it.
Tough time to have a party.
And then last night, we have the football watching party. And, yeah, the guy at Aspen Creek, Nathan, was like, hey, what should I do with this garbage? I'm like, you better leave it in the garage or else animals are going to rip it apart. By the way, Aspen Creek, fantastic food. Mm-hmm. They came and catered our football watching party for a second time. And they said if you go to Aspen Creek in Irving and mention you heard about them on our show, they'll give you free fried pickles or free queso, like an appetizer. So do it.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Get something free.
But yeah, I was like, Dan, did Dan do leaves this weekend? And then I looked over. Oh, that's what that was?
Well, yeah, there's 20 bags of leaves.
He did that 2 weeks ago, I think.
Which was, it
looks great.
And then you never, the yard looks great, but
There's trash everywhere.
Yeah, well, the garbage bag's full of leaves. Apparently, that's just a bulk trash pickup. I don't know how often that is picked up, but
once a month.
Yeah, the whole neighborhood has bags of leaves. I'm also very concerned because my neighbor had people over to clean his yard, and he's got all his leaves in clear plastic bags. And that might be the rule around here.
Ooh.
Because all mine are in black plastic bags. And can you imagine if I have to take every leaf out of the 20 black plastic bags and pour them into clear plastic bags?
Well, no, I mean, I think the obvious move is you put those bags in clear plastic bags. You're like, yeah, I mean, fine print here says put the leaves in clear plastic bags. And, yeah, what a beating of a regulation that would be.
Overflowing garbage and recycling situation.
When is this going to get rectified, today or tomorrow? I can't be.
Hopefully tomorrow. It's Tuesday and Fridays are days. And then I won't bore you with the details, but I had a business phone call, a couple of calls that took me about an hour and a half.
A desk.
I did it walking around the Home Depot on Saturday.
Did you park in the veterans parking spot?
I actually was looking at it, thinking, what if I parked here?
Who's going to stop you?
And I didn't, because I respect our military, unlike you.
You're right.
And so, yeah. Besides that, I can give you the TV updates later, but I did some pretty important TV watching over the weekend. Squid Game.
Ah, yes.
Season 2.
I heard it's back.
It is back. And then I will give you a full report on this later, but Jerry Springer, fights, camera, action.
I like it. And I am going to watch it.
I watched that documentary. It's about 45 minutes each, two-parter.
Yeah, I think
very worthy.
The thing is that I will watch it and I probably will enjoy it, but I've had two separate reviews. I guess several. One of them, people are like, hey, this is interesting, you should watch it. Now you added to that. And then the other one is from another Springer head, Danny Bayless, who said they didn't go near enough in depth. And when I find out they didn't even talk to Steve. What? No, Steve? You got to go. Steve is – you can't tell the story without Steve.
Okay, well, I'm not an in-depth Jerry guy.
Steve is the bald-headed guy.
The successor.
Yeah, that they tried to give the show after, but Steve was the bouncer. And so whenever people would get rowdy and out of hand, he was huge and he was bald. The whole crowd would be like, Steve, 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 as he's chucking somebody off the stage and keeping two, transsexuals away from each other.
They did not talk to anybody named
tough,
Steve.
But I will watch it.
Big time with the executive producer and the main guest booker.
Ah, okay.
So that was good stuff.
And he did tell me that they did the Klan episode.
Oh, yeah. The main takeaways for me was, well, I don't want to get into it now. You got a lot on the weekend check, so let you take care of it. Or Blake, you next or what?
Yeah, I'll go. I'll let Jake finish. So school was postponed Thursday and Friday, so I had a Argyle basketball doubleheader on Saturday.
You're the voice of Argyle basketball.
Yeah, which is why the voice is a little rough. Still trying to warm myself up into
you should start smoking cigarettes.
Screaming for 3 hours. So, yeah, that was Saturday. Didn't quite know how the roads were going to be Saturday morning, so I took my wife to work. Because, women can't drive.
So you're so concerned about her.
So concerned and such a gentleman that, got up at 5:30 to take her in.
Dude, this
downtown.
Guy. Do you have like a spittoon?
Boy, I'd never do that.
Like a little piece of straw or something? Like, who are you turning into?
Did she request this, or did you just think, hey, man, I'm not sure how the roads will?
Maybe I just saw my dad do it forever, that the weather was bad, he would take her in, and maybe I just feel like I should be doing that.
That does seem very antiquated.
Yeah. I mean, I'll open a door still, so
yeah,
but I guess I do that for everyone.
Because then I started thinking, well, then I'm on the road twice as long as you would have been on your own.
What is it called, infantilizing her? You're like, she just can't handle it.
You can't take care of herself.
She's merely a woman.
So, I don't know.
Which, whether true or not, you're not supposed to do it.
Yeah, so I stayed up till 3 playing Xbox, up at 5:15 to take her to work.
You're going to die. It doesn't work out.
An Argyle basketball doubleheader. I did want to update you on my dog situation because it's changed a little bit since I last complained about the dog that I took in.
You got an orphan.
Yeah, the one of the brothers-in-law that is up to no good. They thought that they could have a big Great Pyrenees dog, which is a giant dog, in an apartment and keep it in a crate and everything would work itself out.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler, it didn't. So in comes me, the good family member. Hey, I got a yard. We'll see. And I'm finding out that dog people that can't take care of their dog, they'll just say, well, why don't you just take them in for a few days, see how it works out. They get you on the free trial.
Yep.
Knowing that you can't give the damn thing back.
Yeah. Kid, especially you got a kid in play.
Well, Brooks doesn't really care for him, but
interesting.
It's just it was very hard for us to say no, we don't like this, and so we just dealt with it. We had our problems. He was getting out. He doesn't listen to anything you say. Just not.
This is awesome.
Was not a good experience, but we just held on to him. Well, with all of the snow and the ice and the female in the house feeling bad for him, the dog slept inside all week. And then when we tried to let him back outside, he started digging again. He broke our fence to get out. We had neighbors calling us at 1 a.m. Friday night, hey, your dog is roaming the neighborhood.
The good news is I'm sure this didn't cause any marital strife, being that it's her brother's dog.
I didn't remind her that it wasn't my idea at all. Anyway, but to add on, so the dog was getting out. The dog is just bored. He boredom barks, which drives me insane. My wife's idea to fix this mess was to get another dog.
Yes. Yep.
I've got 3.
Having a kid will save this marriage.
I've got 3 dogs. I don't want any dogs. So now the puppy is getting out with the bigger dog. And they're just a little tag team running through the neighborhood. And the bad thing is everyone knows there are dogs.
Oh, yeah. You got the bad
And
kid.
anytime somebody sees us, hey, how's Danny? Like, dog's name is Danny. So I think I've reached my breaking point. If anyone wants a Great Pyrenees.
This is great, though, because
let me know.
I like stuff like this.
And I'm going to do the same thing. Don't like them for, just try them out for a couple of days. You don't like them, you can bring them back.
Block the number. But this is great because he's not 100% scene control guy. And this makes me feel good as often as I'm getting cucked.
I got some blind spots.
There's a few weaknesses there.
But I tried to do the adult thing, and you were talking about infantilizing or something. She said, okay, the big dog is bored. What if we got him a friend to play with, and they could, knock each other out with their energy and whatever. Me, knowing that was a bad idea, I didn't want to tell her no. So I said, I don't know. Whatever you think. If you think that'll fix the situation, then that's what we should do. Thinking that you're going to come to the conclusion that we don't need another dog.
No.
She came to a different one. She got us a puppy, which is not working out, and now she's realizing, yeah, we don't need these dogs.
You're stuck.
Well, at least it's only like the next 15 or 16 years.
Yeah, it's only a decade.
Yeah.
That we got to weather this storm.
It's not like a kid.
But just letting the dogs out in the snow, and then they come back in. You got to wipe their paws, put them back in the utility room. They whimper all night long. It's 2:30. I got to let them out. Go, wipe their paws, back in. Now it's 4. Then the dog that didn't go out the first time now has got to go back out.
I love it.
It was horrible.
That's why you get tiny dogs, dude. Real easy to deal with. You just pick them up and wrap the whole towel around them.
Yeah.
To wipe them off. Then when they get old and can barely get down the steps and stuff, you can easily carry them outside. And then when they, when you want to, you just kind of stomp on them.
Punt them?
You punt them.
You just stomp on them, and then that's their euthanasia.
So my weekend, maybe some of this has to go tomorrow, but had a huge weekend, massive weekend, capped off by the playoff stream. But Saturday night went to the AAC to see Shane Gillis.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'd seen Shane a couple times, maybe just once, I don't recall, but definitely the Majestic was the last one. I've never seen an arena comedy show. The closest I ever got was middle, sort of where the Coyotes played when we were in Arizona. But it was like a college hockey stadium. Mm-hmm. So it was about half the size of the AAC. But I've never seen an arena comedy show.
Yeah. How was that? That'd be weird being up in the second deck.
I honestly, I think it's weird. The same level of weird, if you think it's weird, is everywhere. Because...
Like the stage is a circle?
Square, but it's in the middle.
So does he face the same way the whole time?
No.
Okay.
He didn't do like a full stomp around Dane Cook style. Dane Cook is the first person I ever saw do this.
Okay, he's been to the AC.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He did Madison Square Garden.
Chris Rock, I know, has done it. But like Chappelle, that was House of Blues for me, I think, both times. So I'd never seen this setup before. I guess what I mean by that is if you're up close, I don't know how much different it is because you're not that close. You know what I mean? Like at a comedy club or at a theater, if you're up close, you're pretty close.
Where were you?
It was section 102, so one of the lower sections. I mean, it was not far,
but not on the floor.
No, and you're looking at the screen the whole time, almost the whole time, anyways. But I've been struggling with how to describe this. It was a very interesting night because he's super, super popular, probably the biggest comedian in the world right now. And while I was certainly not like an early adopter of his, I feel like I know enough about him to where I know some of what is and isn't like his true personality. I definitely think there are words that you should be able to say that and not lose your job and not be viewed as like a hateful person. And I never, when he's doing comedy, feel like he's being mean. I maybe that's because I listen to his podcast or I read interviews with him, but I never feel like he's just trying to be mean. But I think because he's grouped in with comedians who are like, fuck it, I'll say it. I think there are a lot of people who like that type of comedy, and arrogantly I'm going to say who are slightly lower in IQ than I am, that the whole thing for them is just getting to hear the word, the F slur. Or getting to hear the word the word retard, like yeah, someone said it. Like I don't feel that they're getting all of it. And I say all this because it was the second night of the tour. It started Friday night in San Antonio. I tried to look on Saturday. I tried to do Twitter searches on Saturday to get an idea who's opening for this. Usually at least 2 acts, right? Like when that show I went to in Phoenix, that was actually a Bert Kreischer show that I went to with Gordon, and Shane was the first act, and it was 15 minutes. And I'm like, well, he should have been headlining. So this one, it was a guy that TC knew, but I didn't know. An Australian guy was the first one, and he was sort of funny. But the second act was Tony Hinchcliffe. And that seemed like a surprise to most people because the bros went apeshit.
So he's the Kill Tony guy that did the Republican convention?
The rally at Madison Square Garden, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. That
the Puerto Rico
was very
thing,
controversial,
and yeah. And
which was funny stuff, I think, if he was in a comedy club.
Some of it was good for a comedy club, yeah. Some of it, yeah.
It just didn't seem to mesh.
And so here's my thing with him is that show I think is funny. It's a good concept where they have people come up and do, 60, 90 seconds of open mic and tell what they think about him. I think he's a good host. I've watched his stand-up before, and I don't think it's very good. It's not for me anyways. And here's the distinction. He gets up there, and, all of his jokes are shock jockey.
Brady roast?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's where maybe
he was good at that.
Yeah, maybe that's where I first got real knowledge.
He's got funny jokes, and I would say that during his set, there were 3 or 4 bangers. But I also don't really think he's a good comedian, to me, because a lot of what he's doing is just being mean. There's no real punchline. It's just like, this race sucks, and they're dirty. And it's not that funny to me. But it was very funny to the white power rally that I was at. Because that's basically, dude, I'm talking about when somebody, Tony in particular, would be talking about different races, when he said white people, most of the people in my section stood up and cheered. Like for the concept of Caucasians. And a lot of his stuff is just mean. Like it's not funny. It feels mean-spirited. Now I realize that's super subjective, how you feel a person is being as a comic, but that's just how it is for me. It was interesting, though, because one of his lines of humor that was very funny to me was abortion-related. And how you can't get an abortion in Texas, but you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, but you can't get an abortion. But you can pay $35, put her on Spirit Airlines, fly her to Denver, Colorado, and get that knocked out. And he had like a whole abortion thing Silence.
Really?
Yeah. And it was awesome because me and Kristen were laughing very hard. And our buddy Cameron told me the same thing, that his wife didn't really know anything about Tony, barely knew Shane. And she was like, where are we? Because it was like being at a MAGA rally. For
Interesting.
Real. And it was weird. Like, the things that people cheered at and didn't cheer at was odd to me.
Uh-huh.
Then the other thing I'll tell you about Shane, I laughed nonstop the whole time. It was a great evening. A lot of fun. But it wasn't like a special type set. Where, what I mean by that is 2 or 3 of the bits I'd heard before, either in his podcast or like on Rogan. TC, who's seen him a couple times at one-offs, like in South Bend when they were there for a game, said he'd seen all of it. And it wasn't really like a, hey, I got an hour. It was like his phone was on the stool. And he was just like, all right, let's try this bit. And he would do a 10-minute bit that maybe he'd done before but added something to it.
That's interesting for doing that
at an arena.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a comedy club, work on your stuff, and then go out on the big tour. It
almost felt like he was doing a, let's figure out what I can do at an arena so that by the end of this tour I can do an arena set. Because there were a couple times where he was like, kind of can't believe that worked in an arena. I can't believe I just told that joke in an arena, and he'd go back. But all of these individual bits were gold. But it wasn't like Beautiful Dogs or like the one in Austin or any special set, you know?
Like it didn't flow?
And see, TC said that he thought it did, but I just felt like it was a guy kind of effing around for 80 minutes, and it was awesome. And it could become a special, but I don't really think it was one. So no disrespect, it was just different. I just never seen somebody do that before. But yeah, there were the parking lots were very teed up. Very, very. I mean, people are empowered, bro. Like, we walked out of there, and Kristen was like, well, I know why he won now. I get it. Because, like, when he started doing Trump, his Trump is making fun of and also noting how funny Trump is. Not everyone sees it that way. They're like, yeah, he's dumb. That's awesome.
Interesting.
And you can tell also he doesn't really want to do it anymore. Like, he's a guy who is left-leaning at heart, who thinks a lot of the language policing is lame, but still kind of is left-leaning at heart. But he's now appealing to this massive right and far-right base, and you can tell he's a little skittish about it at times. It's interesting to watch him work through. And then my working backward, my Saturday day was the kid's 6th birthday party. So again, foolishly, eyes open, similar to Blake's dog situation, we planned an outside birthday. She really wanted to do it at this park. She really wanted to have a bounce house and a face painter. So when you book the park for $150, invite as many people as you want. No limit. So we did. And then as the day approached, it became very clear, because of the weather Dan detailed, this party was happening inside somewhere. We get a hold of a trampoline place that has an opening. We quickly reroute to let everybody know, hey, it's at the trampoline place. And like I told you guys the other day, that was a head count problem, because just about everybody that was going to show up outside when it was unlimited attendance showed up inside. And
yeah, they've been stuck inside for 2 days with their kids. I can go somewhere
and
for free now.
We were like, when it was at the park, we're like, bring the siblings. What do we care? Face painter's just going to paint everybody's face. We're just outside.
Yeah, you're paying them for time.
Yeah, so why not? So we ended up with
it was a lady face painter, right?
Yeah.
Only because I'm trying to remember one time in my entire life when there was a man face painter and it doesn't exist.
No.
For little kids.
And she was a beast, but you're right. Also, definitely no shade here. Maybe this guy ends up hearing this, but I was interested in the backstory. One of the dads in her class, balloon guy. Just.
What do you mean? Like he can make animals and stuff?
Yeah, and has like a little rig thing. And I don't know that we didn't really ask. How would you ask? You don't know.
Okay, you didn't.
But I think he just contacted my wife and was like,
hey, I
got the balloons. We're like, okay, I guess.
That's a great bit.
It's a great bit, except what if I didn't want it?
If you didn't want him there at all?
Well, if you didn't want the balloon, were you like, no, I'm good? Like, once you offer that, you're putting the person in a situation.
He's just trying to help.
He did help. It was just, I was watching him like, how do you get on this path? How did this start?
I remember I would always go out to breakfast with my daughters every weekend.
IHOP.
And IHOP, but then I can't remember the place that's over by Target and Grapevine. It used to be, now it's like a chicken and waffle place.
Yes.
But it used to be like a little breakfast place. Yeah. And I remember I have good memories of going in there, but then Balloon Guy would walk around. Mm-hmm. And then, so now Balloon Guy comes up. I've got a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old with me. And so I can't say no, we don't want a balloon. And they're very impressed. And I was too. It was pretty amazing. Whatever he did made us a balloon. But then he also holds his hand out. You're like, that's right.
Yeah.
Did I think somehow I was just going to get a free balloon animal? I mean, but I was just sitting here minding my business. Mm-hmm. I did not want a free balloon.
Yeah, it's like the mariachi band. You never know what to do. But with the kid angle, it's worse.
Or when they walk around, too, sometimes they're trying to pimp their new cookies, and they'll offer a free cookie. It's like, yeah, but I wasn't going to get a cookie.
Yeah.
And now I can't say no to the cookie that you just held in front of my 2 little kids right here.
Yeah.
Now I have to give them a cookie at 9 a.m.
That's true. I feel the same about the bathroom attendant.
Oh, the worst.
Dude, I can get my own soap.
Like, don't want you in here at all.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Like, would be much more comfortable if you weren't watching me wash my hands.
So
I kind of want to pick my nose right now.
It was awesome. Like, she had a great time. The kids had a great time, despite the fact of us, like, kind of not really having enough in the way of cupcakes and stuff. Because, again, dude, everybody brought their siblings.
Yeah.
We said it was okay. And then afterward try to cull the invite list when we have to reroute or tell people, like, hey, if you got to bring a sibling, you can't come. And some people did pay for their own siblings. And really, at the end of the day, I don't care. Debt's debt. I'm very comfortable in it. But
and they got a balloon.
They got a balloon, face paint. And, dude, I love those places. Carter and I just balled out. But to wrap up, there was a guy there who worked for the place, probably 20 years old. And seeing him come into the room, he's like, hey, I'm going to be checking on your party today. It reminded me of how much fun it was to have a job that you could go to just baked out of your mind. Like, and you're just like in a video game, You just show up and you're like, what do we, like, these kids? He was good at what he did, which was bring us water. But when I met him, there's chaos going on. There's 40 kids in this little room, balloon guys over here, insane. And he walked in, bloodshot like you would not believe. He's got the TikTok haircut, and he's like, well, hey, man. He's like, I'm Gabriel. He's like, I assume you're dad. And I'm like, yeah, man, that's me. And he's like, all right, well, I'm just taking care of y'all guys. He's like, looks like we're off to a good start. I saw some kids bouncing.
So he's baked.
And I was like, yeah, that's all there is to do here. They're bouncing. Then later, as I told you guys, I ended up being out, I would say about 3 to 4 times as much as I thought I was going to be money-wise.
Ouch.
By the end of this day. Like, this is a Sweet 16 number in my head, what I ended up paying. And here's how that happened. I was playing with Carter, like, sort of towards the back of the place. Our time is almost up. So I'm over there, like, bouncing. And I see Gabe approaching, baked. He fucking bounces over to me and hands me the credit card thing. So I'm kind of bouncing. Like, what am I supposed to do? He's like, Jake. He's bouncing. Mr. Kemp. Now we're kind of like standing there as he's handed me the credit card thing. I was telling Machine about that this morning. He's like, you should have double bounced him right off there and took off. Like, you can't bring somebody payment.
Yeah, is it like being served if you just avoid him?
That's what it felt like. Yeah, it felt like a legal proceeding where they're like, let's catch him here. He won't freak out while he's got the 2-year-old.
He's got the kid with him.
But overall, what a time.
Sorry about your wallet.
Wasn't at my house, Blake. That's all that matters.
Yeah, but
Yeah, you didn't have to clean up.
that price tag.
All right. Well, let's talk NFL in a minute.
The Dumb Zone.
I wake up tomorrow and keep living. I mean, you don't. You just keep playing the game. It's a fun game. It's enjoyable. We're going to try and win next year. We're going to try and get back in the playoffs, and we're going to try and win a Super Bowl. That's all you can do. I mean, if we don't, okay. If you do, okay. Then you're really a great player, and you're all these things. If you're not, then you're just a pretty solid, good player, and that's me. I'll have to deal with that. None of you guys and people will, and that's just part of the job.
So you don't sound worried that
I've had a lot worse happen to me than a loss in a sporting event, that's for sure. And if this is the worst thing that ever happens to me, then I've lived a pretty good life.
There's
You're
your
listening
hero.
to The Dumb Zone.
My hero.
Hey, we love having the local sponsors that we have a true relationship with. Qualis Roofing, I think, is one of those.
For sure.
QualisGC.com. They've actually put the roof right here, right above us, while we are dry today. Thanks to Qualis. The best thing about Qualis was when we had to get that new roof, and it was after the storms, and insurance covered everything except for whatever the deductible. But Qualis will deal with the insurance company for you. If you've ever had to work through an insurance claim or get money, it's just a back and forth and this and that, and they handled all of that. Right now with Qualis, they will give you a free roof inspection and a Dumb Zone t-shirt for free if you have them out just for a roof inspection.
Wow.
Some insurance companies say you should have your roof inspected at least twice a year. So why not have them out, a free roof inspection, and then if you get a roof with Qualis, they will pay for a sit-in. You can come sit in and watch the show and hang out. They'll pay for you.
Yeah, and whenever you arrive at the sit-in that there's a roof.
That's right. What if that wasn't a thing? So QualisGC.com or 817-500-9008. Thank you, Qualis.
No puppet.
All right, man. Let's talk football. Oh, by the way, Blake, you sent me this. Actually, let's bring on Landry Locker first.
Yeah.
Landry is in Houston, covering Super Wildcard weekend for us in Houston.
Still alive. Live to fight another Saturday early window.
Yeah, what's the deal?
They've only lost that twice. They've played in it every time they've been in that round, and they've only lost in it twice. It's kind of their thing.
Have the Texans ever played a Sunday playoff game?
They've played a Sunday playoff game, but not in wild card round. Wild card round, it's been 3:30 at noon, literally every time in the entire history of the franchise. Seriously, like there's been no other. So it is a tradition like no other. I actually like it from like a perspective of covering the squad because you kind of just get to relax after. There's nothing in between. But yeah, it is a tradition like no other. Not being relevant, not going to any conference championships will do that to you.
Our buddy Jimmy Football sent us the betonline.ag odds for the Cowboys' next head coach. Get me the top 5. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You guys want to guess? Some of the names we were throwing out.
I'm looking at Bovada's, so I have a reference point, but I do want to play this game, especially with Landry here.
I will tell you this. They sent like a list of top 20 or so. Not on the list, Jason Witten.
He's not on Bovada's either.
That's good. That's a good sign right there, right? We're good with that?
Look, we don't know. I mean, we're trying to play the game of like who would they hire, who would be exciting for us. Really, none of the options that I think are actual possibilities, none of them I'm excited about. Like, I don't want Witten, but I think it'd be fun. Because let's do this one. On your list, Dan, of top 5, BetOnline AG, where's Prime?
2.
Because Bovada has him at number 1, even odds.
Even?
Wow.
Yeah. Dang.
Number 1 on this list is Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore not even on here. So what does that tell you? Because Kellen Moore is he should definitely be considered.
What about Kingsbury?
Number 3 on my list.
Okay. What about Nick Saban?
He is on my list, but he's way down there.
What about Belichick? Is Belichick still alive? He has been known to flake.
He's 6th on my list, along with Ben Johnson at 10-1 odds. It goes Kellen Moore, Dion, Cliff, Joe Brady.
Joe Brady, number 2 on this list.
Lincoln Riley.
Whoa.
Ben Johnson, Belichick, Brian Flores, Lane Kiffin, Liam Cohen, Bobby Slowick.
I was going to say
Landry.
Bobby Slowick. Bovada has him.
I'll pay for the limo if y'all want that. I'll pay for the Uber. I'll put him in a hotel for his interview. I don't think you want that.
Aaron Glenn way down below Nick Saban, because we were talking to Aaron Glenn before. But one name that is on here that I didn't think about, but I don't think we can rule out. At 22-1, John Gruden.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Wouldn't be the worst thing. But with there's a lot of that. That's not like the best PR mix. Like,
yeah.
If you want to get the second chance, I don't know that him and Jerry are like the best mix together.
But who supports giving second chances more?
It's very true.
Than the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, Slowick is on mine at 4th. Matt Nagy at 5. That actually somewhat tracks.
Oh, my God.
He just was a coach, right?
Yeah.
And then number 6 here, to let you know how serious Bovada's taking this, at plus 2,800, we have Tony Romo himself.
Oh, wow. God, that'd be great.
He's on this list.
I have a guy that I think they should hire that I've been carrying this flag now for about 9 years. I actually wanted the Texans to hire him 3 years ago. I think Josh McCown is destined to be a head coach. I think it's early, but I don't think the Cowboys are going to get top tier. But if I were making a hire, I would hire Josh McCown. And it's a unique resume. It's unique experience. It's not traditional, but you're talking about a guy that played on 12 teams in the NFL, and he was a backup quarterback, which is basically an extra coach. Philadelphia thought enough of him to where Doug Peterson actually let him call plays during preseason. I think 2020 kind of caught up to him, so he stepped away and started his career a little bit later because there was all the Bieniemy stuff, and he got 3 interviews with the Texans. He's a Texas guy. He's a backup quarterback. He's doing a hell of a job with Sam Darnold. He's eventually going to be a head coach, but no one has experience like that. And everyone says, can you deal with Jerry Jones? This guy's been in 14, 15 NFL buildings. It's actually nobody has a experience or resume dealing in as many buildings as that with as many quarterbacks. So if I were hiring somebody, I would hire Josh McCown. It's inevitably going to happen. It might be a little bit soon, but that would be who I would go with. Way outside the box, though.
I don't hate that at all. I think that tracks as a really good offensive mind. And we also know that he once filmed a PSA against internet porn.
Yes, he did. And it was very emotional.
It was extremely emotional.
And he also has a very underrated pickup basketball highlight tape, which it's very high up on my scale of what I value. But I think it's going to happen eventually. It might be too early, but the Cowboys, it's not. I think David Hellman or someone said that it's still a top 3 job. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I don't think Ben Johnson's going to be foaming out the mouth to go up to Dallas. So you got to be able to work with Dak Prescott. This guy just worked with quarterbacks a lot. I know that Kevin O'Connell's the guy in Minnesota. Josh McCown is right there in Sam Darnold's ear the whole time. It's not like he's just like some quarterback coach walking around. He's right there, talking to him the whole time. I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. I would hire Josh McCown.
Another name we haven't mentioned, but I could see Jerry thinking of it, is Pete Carroll.
Whew.
Hasn't he kind of thrown his name out there recently?
He interviewed with the Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't hate McCown at all. I mean, it doesn't get the people going like Jerry would, and maybe not top 3, but I'd still say this is top 5, 6. I don't know. People who grew up and all the coaches are our age or older, and they still think of winning with the Cowboys as a really big deal. So Pittsburgh, Green Bay, I mean, I guess you could say Kansas City if you're factoring in just circumstance, but what's better?
Yeah. Kingsbury, though, is interesting, too, because you're kind of taking him away from Daniels. And I don't know, that might not mean much, but I know people look at him as being a head coach before as kind of like a scarlet letter, but I mean, he's battle tested. He's a battle tested guy, and you're not only bringing him in, he also likes attention, and I think he can deal with crap. Like, that's another thing that you have to do. Like, he likes attention. He can deal with crap. He can work with offenses, and you're taking him away from basically the toast of the NFL right now and the toast of the division.
I think he would fit perfectly here because he's going to stay hands off the defense, and yeah, I'd love the front office to handle that, and he'll just do his offensive thing and kind of be the guy walking around, being all Cliffy, and
give me Cliff and Salah and let's go.
I mean,
Cliff Kingsbury would be the perfect dumb zone guest, by the way. Like the Cliff Kingsbury weekly would be elite.
Yeah, if we could get that done.
Yeah, we've had him in studio in the past, a long time ago.
Good dude.
Power rank who y'all would want based on guests, and let's just throw Dion to the side.
Dion.
Like
if
I said y'all were getting a weekly with a head coach, what would y'all's top three be? Just
Belichick.
For Dan, it's Belichick. Obviously, Rex Ryan.
Dan Campbell. Okay, Rex Ryan.
Rex Ryan would be number one if we're throwing Dion out.
John Gruden.
John Gruden would be two.
Ooh, that'd be sick.
And yeah,
certainly Cliff.
Cliff would be that next part.
How about Nick Saban? Alabama Jones.
Alabama Jones.
He's on the list here. Way down.
This is fun.
Way down the list. It is kind of fun. So, I don't think every game was a blowout. Philly was pretty close throughout. I think that's a deceiving final score.
It is and it isn't. It was close-ish, but it definitely felt you could feel how much better Philadelphia, just from a talent standpoint, is than Green Bay, especially Green Bay banged up.
I don't think Jordan Love's 3 interceptions are getting as much attention as Justin Herbert's 3 interceptions.
4
interceptions. Sorry.
Yeah, 4.
As he had 3 interceptions all year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 and then 4 in the game. Yeah.
And then 4 in the game.
That's a tough one for me.
Yeah, tough one for you from Friday, talking about how great he was.
Yeah, I said, hey, this guy, on any given day could be the best quarterback in the league, and I still believe that.
It's true.
But that's the biggest game of his career. And to come out and play the worst game of your career, the Texans deserve credit because they were all over them.
No, they deserve a lot of credit, and I think, well, you tell us, Landry. To me, it's one of the biggest surprises of the weekend is that game. Just that Houston kind of would you say underperformed all year? At least to our early expectations.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, they're definitely a defensive team. I will say that Justin Herbert is kind of quarterback that DeMeco Ryans can make look stupid. Josh Allen had the lowest passer rating of his career early in the season. They were kind of banged up at receiver. But this is actually the first time that the Texans front 7 has been healthy all year. They didn't have linebacker Christian Harris. He didn't play a lot. Azeez Al-Shire was suspended. And now they have like 5 or 6 guys they can just rotate. So they made him very uncomfortable. The result that happened, I think, is the most surprising. But it was kind of one of those games where I could have seen it going either way. But I definitely didn't anticipate the Chargers getting roughed up as much as they did. But the Texans do have a superpower at the front 7, which – If you're going to make a run, whether it's the Jets with Rex Ryan or the Jags in 2017 with like a flawed offense, which the Texans have, that's really the recipe is get after the quarterback, and they did that.
Yeah, any if you can get a quarterback under severe pressure, we've talked about it for a long time. That is the way to do things. Boys, I look across the whole weekend.
Yeah, boy, he was – if you look at 37 dropbacks, he had 19 under pressure and 18 kept clean.
Yeah, and you wonder, like, are they going to be allowed to do that to Mahomes? I was talking about this today on the TV station. Hey.
You might be talking about it again on a TV station. This could be on DZTV tonight.
Whoa.
Well, it should be.
Yeah.
It should be.
Channel 27. Tune in, folks.
This belongs like after 10 p.m. like on some channel. Like this just screams that. But I don't think you're going to be able to rough up Mahomes the way you rough up Herbert. And I'm not trying to be like the referee guy. Like I think the way in which they were abusing him, and there were a couple times where they slammed him to the turf. I think they'll find some way to throw a flag.
Oh, here we go
on Mahomes. No, I'm serious. Like I'm just like that's just kind of the package of playing against the Chiefs. I think the craziest thing about the Chiefs that I think is interesting is I don't think they've peaked. Like I don't think they've peaked despite the fact they've lost one game. Like they haven't had Hollywood Brown all season long. I'm taking the over on his yardage no matter what the number is. I haven't even seen it drop yet. Whatever it is, I'm taking the over. They haven't had a healthy Pacheco. Travis Kelce's kind of been banged up. They just got DeAndre Hopkins in the middle of the season. And then they have Xavier Worthy. Like the Chiefs have not even like offensively, I don't even think they began to peak. And that's going to be the scary thing is you're talking about a team that we thought had no skill position guys early in the season, and they're fully healthy. Like they're fully healthy, and I think it's kind of a problem.
Yeah, and I think this is a very this is not like a X's and O's thing, but this feels like one of the first times where I really feel like America will actually be rooting for the Texans. Do you guys sense Chiefs hate out there in general?
Yeah,
it's just inevitable.
Chiefs fatigue.
Chiefs fatigue, but I don't know that America will be rooting for the Texans to beat them. I think we want to see the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game against what
Ravens
you
or
could
Bills.
maybe argue is the Super Bowl is like next weekend anyway.
Yeah,
with the Bills.
I don't feel Chiefs hate as much as I do like Cowboys hate when they were good, or even Patriots hate. And I guess it was a longer time, but I just don't. Are they really that hateable?
They're not in your face. I love them.
You get
the T Swift, angle in there,
Jackson Mahomes,
Brittany Mahomes.
There's Chiefsaholic. Did y'all watch the Chiefsaholic doc?
Dude, I did. We didn't talk about it on the show because
Dan, this is right up your alley. This is one of the best docs that they've had in a while.
It is good, but I think it's just called Chiefsaholic.
Yeah,
no,
it's
but
awesome.
where?
Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, it's incredible. It is nuts.
We followed the story pretty closely as it was happening, so I didn't learn a ton, but it is worth it. Just the world.
We did get to follow him post bail. That was the crazy thing, and we learned about his gambling problem. How he's basically like stacking up $150K on bets.
Yeah. Rob a bank, go to the game, bet on the next game. And the funniest part is when he's out on bond. They're watching the Super Bowl with him, and he wins like $200,000 with an ankle monitor on.
And then he cuts, and
he's like,
"I
won."
When he runs, they're
Cut
like,
this off.
He's a threat to run because he might win these bets. And the crazy thing is, he has all these fans still that are still like supporting him just because of his internet. It's a good one. It is a really good one.
See, I don't know how America would be the three-peat thing. Never been done. Could be the Chiefs, first time to do it. This could be that could be something fun to root for. Lamar, I think that could be something fun to root for. As could he finally win the big one? All that kind of stuff.
Buffalo in general, I feel like people love.
Fun to root for because of Buffalo, and they're Buffalo, and they got to the Super Bowl so often in the past, 4 years in a row, and now could they do that?
Yeah, maybe the Texas thing was a bad point.
Obviously, Dan Campbell, that'd be fun to root for.
Oh, yeah. If you're talking NFC, I could see.
Detroit. No, yeah. So the AFC is loaded, obviously. But as far as fun stories to root for going forward.
Who are y'all rooting for? I root for Lamar. I've never seen the goalpost moved so much on someone from like the levels of hate for Lamar. I just want him to win a Super Bowl. Like really, really badly. But
he's got to get the title game first.
Well, see, there it is, right there.
Exactly.
You probably wanted to move him to wide receiver before.
No,
the game.
let's hand him every MVP we can, but yet he can't win a playoff game.
Okay, they haven't even been.
No one was complaining about Peyton Manning when he was winning MVPs and couldn't get it done. There's different energy with Lamar Jackson for whatever reason. He can't be a quarterback. Then he can't win in the regular season. Then he can't. It's a system. Then he wins in another system, and now all of a sudden he's just getting this treatment.
I don't know. You should play the race card on Lamar. I do remember that about
the race card.
I remember that about Peyton Manning. I remember he can't win the big one anytime. Even when he was here and they were 10-0, playing the Cowboys when Parcells was a coach, he lost like Thanksgiving Day or something like that, and it was like, see, big game, big nationally televised game. Peyton Manning will fold. That's when 1920s reporter guy talked to him.
I don't think it's as much race. I think it's just dug in. Quarterbacks make idiots of us all. Like, I don't think any position has made us look as foolish. Like, I don't know that people thought that Jaden Daniels was going to be this. But it just does seem like Lamar, like the bar just maybe it's just he's hiring the expectations of him, and I'm just a little bit defensive about him. I just find myself rooting for him.
I don't know if Jaden Daniels will be in the league in 5 years.
You're just falling back on the RG3
yeah,
thing.
just
not crazy.
Dude, his body.
He can't protect himself.
Yeah, he doesn't protect himself, and his body type. He's just small.
Yeah, it's true, which makes the fact that 94 in red last night got stiff-armed in the backfield on the play of the game by a guy who looks like me at the free throw line getting called Kermit or pipe cleaners when I was in 10th grade. Like, you don't want to get stiff-armed by a guy that you're like, I don't know if you'll be in the league in 5 years. You're so small.
Yeah.
But I did see a tweet yesterday that that kind of touches on what you guys are talking about. It was somebody just said something to the effect of, here it is. The NFL playoffs are a great reminder that there are really only like 5 good quarterbacks at any given time in the NFL, and there is an entire media industrial complex dedicated to making you think otherwise, selling you hope.
It's a fact, because the debate you were talking about Herbert, like the debate, and I naturally just pushed back was, well, if CJ beats Justin Herbert, this was just kind of just something that someone brought up, then he's a top 5 quarterback in the AFC. And I was like, huh? I don't know about that. And then you look at the quarterbacks in the AFC and you're like, I mean, I guess that they're battling out for that 5th spot. It's kind of fascinating. The NFC is even crazier, like.
Who is the best?
Right now in the NFC?
Yeah.
I guess it's Goff, right? Is it Goff? Daniels is playing as good as anyone.
Is it Goff? Is it Daniels? Is it Stafford? Is it Hurts? Like, they're all just pretty good, but all capable of having really bad days. Like, in a way that you didn't see, Brady or Manning at their peak. The best in the NFL didn't have games like what you see from Jalen Hurts every now and then.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Baker, honestly, up until last night, I could have said Baker.
Yeah.
And even last night for most of the game.
Lamar Jackson, though, is a very interesting study because he obviously was a free agent, now restricted, correct? You would have had to offer a couple of first-round picks and the biggest contract ever and all that kind of stuff. But quarterback being what it is, where a ton of teams were trying to trade for Deshaun Watson. So you think the Browns gave up a ton to get him, and the capper is the guaranteed contract. No other team was willing to do that. But, it could very easily be Atlanta that had given up 3 first-rounders and plus some and then signed him to, like, a deal that was almost as big. But he ended up going to Cleveland. Did you see the news on him, too? Supposedly re-injured himself while rehabbing, and, like, that's just
everything I see related to that story, I figure there are 2 to 3 ulterior motives here.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I think he doesn't want to come back.
They don't want him back.
They want him back.
Basically, they have a team of lawyers on each side sitting in a room
trying to figure out how do we do this. Yeah, how do we make everybody look okay in this kind of.
Yeah.
But Lamar Jackson, I think, is unbelievable. Like, his body type is much different.
Until you see him, like, right after a Jaden Daniels highlight, I feel like you don't really get it. Lamar's a thick MFer.
Right. And then Derrick Henry, who was a free agent this offseason. Now, had the Cowboys signed him, and they really could have easily, 2 years, $8 million a year. That's what he got. And he's unbelievable. Do they do the innovative stuff that you see Baltimore doing? Do they direct snap to him and put Dak out wide, which is something I saw over the weekend?
No.
And then Derrick Henry all of a sudden takes that for 30 yards. Like, he's unbelievable. He's still unbelievable.
No, he is. He's a home run. But even if they had just hit a double, I mean, Mixon had over 100 yards and almost 5 yards a carry on Saturday. He was available. Got a little less than Henry, and it's not like he had a good year. If Joe Mixon were on the Cowboys this year, their season with Rico would have looked very different.
Yes, Rico is a backup? Or is a compliment? Yeah.
Mix him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Derrick Henry thing's interesting because he's a physical freak, and he also has the threat of the best running quarterback of all time there. So I don't even know what you really do in the situation if you're trying to stop Derrick Henry. It's kind of amazing that the Cowboys didn't at least get in on this market. I think the only team that won this weekend that didn't delve into this favorable running back market was Buffalo, and they already have James Cook, and they even drafted another running back. But every team that won this week, and it was a large part of the reason outside of Washington. Eckler wasn't like a huge part of what they did during the season. He was kind of banged up, but they got him. But every single one of these teams, this favorable running back market, the polarizing running back market, they all got into it to the point where
it really is. Yeah.
If Saquon's not at Philadelphia, we're sitting here talking about how Jalen Hurts is that man. What a bad contract that is. That's terrible. And they got Saquon, and he's arguably the MVP of the league. But everybody, even good teams, like the really, really good teams, they partook in that running back market, which I think it kind of says something.
Man, I think you got to throw Eckler in there. I mean, he was hurt, but he was very important last night.
Yeah,
through the air and on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, he was immediately a big part of stuff. So it's interesting. And the scary thing from Jerry's perspective is, like, is he now going to overdo it? Like in a buyer's market running back, like, is he now going to overdo it? Like, are we talking about signing someone and bringing in Gentry and just trying to have like the best running back group of all time? Because I don't think you're ever going to find as favorable of a running back market as that was. That was insane. And you have Derrick Henry right there working out, pulling sleds or whatever the hell he pulls. Houses in Dallas.
Yes,
same agent.
They're always behind the pack. So yes, your prediction is a good one.
Well, they got Zeke.
They did get Zeke, and he looks better than he has in years.
We talked about this yesterday on the stream, but really, really funny that the Chargers signed him and then didn't make him active for the game.
Yeah, because then they saw
they got close.
Like, hey, that film was right.
Yeah, that's tough.
Are y'all ready for Zeke to retire as a Cowboy? It's gonna be Mark.
The one day.
Oh, he's got to do it one day.
That is fantastic. Yeah.
There's been nobody who has gotten more favors from Jerry in their entire life than Zeke. From paying him probably at the wrong time, drafting him early. Maybe
that Alex Davis girl, Alexander Davis, the daughter.
Well,
but other than that,
she got a little something.
Yeah. No, you're right, and it's crazy. We talk about this all the time. I mean, we do hear from guys that play there that he's a good teammate or that they like playing with him. But you can't constantly say, like, this guy's or they don't say hardest worker, but they say a consummate professional, all he cares about is winning, and then be late so much that McCarthy's like, dude, I've got to suspend you for a game. You think McCarthy wants to do that? Of course not.
And then not even make him gut it out. He should have gotten 30 carries in the final game of the season. Like I'm giving him the ball 50 times.
Yeah, make your son smoke the whole pack.
Yeah, he's going 50 carries.
Yeah,
just the whole time in that game, and you let him get out of the situation when it gets bad. Jerry loves Zeke. It's gonna be a big ceremony.
Boy, he
might end up in the Ring of Honor while we're talking.
He might.
No way.
Dude.
Hey, did you think they'd bring him back this year?
His numbers are pretty impressive. Okay, notes I wanted to just make just from throughout the playoffs. The game you were at or watching, Dicker the kicker, that the blocked extra point that he thought was a pass attempt.
Did he bat it down?
Yeah, he batted it down and batted it right down to a player who could just run it back for 2 points. Pittsburgh losing its 6th straight postseason game. So obviously, if that was here, you'd be yelling for Mike Tomlin to be fired.
Yeah, that's my idea.
Are they
Landry is
are they thinking of that, or is it the fact that the fact that they haven't really had a good quarterback in some time, but they keep making the playoffs in the very tough competitive AFC? I think you got to give him that and just imagine if they actually did have a quarterback. Could you imagine if they would have been in on signing Lamar Jackson when he was a free agent?
I think you give them that, but I think organizationally it's kind of stinks. It's the mediocre treadmill that Mark Cuban used to talk about, where it's almost better to kind of bottom out. Like from a coaching standpoint, he deserves credit, but from an organizational standpoint, you're never drafting that high. Your ceiling's limited, but your floor is a little bit higher. It's kind of an interesting spot to be in with him, because his teams do fight their ass off, but they're never bad enough to where it's like, how do we get this quarterback? How are we going to figure it out? They're kind of in no man's land.
The shine really got off them as this year went on, though, and their schedule got tougher. They were extremely exposed.
Yeah, they tried it with Pickett, right? That was like the best. Yeah. That was really the only shot they've taken.
A.J. Brown on the sideline reading a book.
Yeah, so I've seen he showed somebody the book, right? Inner Excellence.
Mm-hmm.
Was it that he was upset at a lack of targets and he needs to read some inspirational passages?
I mean, he says no, but
well, first of all, just having a book on the sideline. I mean, it's a very wide receiver thing.
Oh my God, absolutely!
It's very C team. It's very C team middle school, like kid who doesn't play.
You might expect. Yeah. You might expect, hey, give me one of those tablets so I can see what the defense is doing here.
Maybe how can I get open?
No, it's
no, but
so I can
it's
get
either
my mental right.
There's two takes on it. One is Landry's C team, that makes sense, but the wide receiver thing, it's like it's look at me, right? It's Gordon reading that book at the NBA Finals. Gordon read that book 100 times. Gordon's reading that book, so you'll say Gordon's reading that book.
Yeah,
which is the same thing A.J. Brown was doing. It's very LeBron,
Malcolm X, he still hadn't gotten past page one.
Page two.
You know that the camera's going to be on me.
And they'll come look at you. They'll come ask you what it was about. You can show them the book. And it's like, I get it. If words mean something to you in the moment. Yeah, you're very smart. It's highlighted.
Yeah.
Cool, dude.
Zane Gonzalez, we were all talking about this while doing the stream last night. So he kicks that game winner, doinked it. Man, so close.
And I mean,
I've never seen someone look more nervous, by the way.
So we've got that. I don't think you'll be able to see it, Landry, but Danny believes he'll be able to play this for us.
His hair.
So it starts with the hair. This is right before the game-winning field goal. You can play it whenever, Danny, and I'll just vamp until you get it. Okay, so yeah, we have him here. This is his shoes, actually. This is him messing with his shoes pregame. He takes off his socks and puts them back on probably 7 times. Shoe off, shoe back on. Straighten out the sock. Like, if you have a little bump in your sock.
Sure, yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, that's a little bit weird. I'll just live with it.
Yeah.
But for him, no. That is insane levels of OCD. And I think they showed this after the fact. Like, oh, we had this in the can. We didn't know we'd need it. But they did need it after we saw him doing his hair thing on the sideline. So that was the other video, and it's just we don't have to. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, it's like, oh,
as he's walking onto the field,
right?
He is just.
He barely has any hair.
Yeah,
right?
He's got Garrett level length hair.
Yeah, he's like, move it over. Helmet barely on.
But then
he's different kickers. The 6th is good.
Landry, so you can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just keeps brushing his hair. As if he has really long hair, he's got to keep it out of his eyes, but he doesn't. But he did it about 7-8 times and then went in and, yes, barely made that field goal.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it looks like, and I guess maybe he actually does have some level of OCD. That or he's on cocaine. Because that's the only time I've ever seen anybody acting like that.
They kind of justified them not kicking field goals. I was getting a little bit frustrated with them on 4th and 2, just not kicking field goals. It might have kind of justified it. Do y'all remember the Rangers pitcher? This was at Arlington Stadium. This was a long ass time ago. Named Todd Burns. Do y'all remember him?
I remember the name.
So he used to like grab his head like on the back end of his career. It just throughout pitching he would be doing that. That kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, Joey Gallo had a little bit of that, right? Which he got mad at me for mentioning, but apparently,
What did he do?
I was just like, hey, well, the telling of it that's been captured by history is that I was like, hey, Joey Gallo, what's wrong with your weird, stupid face?
Yeah, you make weird faces. What's up with that?
And he was like, actually, I have a condition. And it was very awkward. But no, I mean, I was like, hey, are you aware that you get memed a lot, for some of your facial expressions?
Hate to see you interview Muhammad Ali on the back end. Good Lord, Jake.
Sit down here with the star of Back to Our Future. What's going on with you? Or Back to Our Future. Back to the Future. You got something weird.
So did Gallo did he kind of flex on you? He's kind of a meathead, isn't he?
He's a super cool guy.
Yeah, he's a cool dude, but he's a cool meathead.
He bowed up a little bit.
He enjoyed putting Jake in that trap.
Yeah. But hey, look.
It happens.
The Commanders move on.
Do y'all find yourself rooting against the Commanders? Like,
No.
I can feel the Eagles hate the Commanders. It's a hard team to not like.
No, they got new ownership.
Yeah, they're fun.
They're not.
Dan.
DQ, Cliff.
Yeah.
Rookie quarterback.
I mean, I was rooting against them last night because you got to root for Baker, but that's part of the Baker thing. Nobody roots for Baker. He's up against the whole world.
8.5 dogs on the road indeed.
Do. I did see this. Oh, what is it?
8.5, which is even bigger than Texans Chiefs.
I bet that's going to go up too.
What's Texans Chiefs?
7.5 right now.
Yeah, it went down. Started at 8, 7.5. Something weird's going on there. I would take the Chiefs. I mean, I'll be honest, but something weird's going on there.
I saw this note too. As far as the Cowboys, we don't want to pay for this because that's going to hurt you in the future. Like they've got all kinds of excuses why they do or don't do things.
Sure.
There were 9 teams that had over $60 million in dead cap money this year. 6 of them made the playoffs.
But I thought it was like an automatic you're out. Like you can't. There's a rule state you can't be in if you have over 50. No?
Broncos $85 million.
Why?
I mean, I don't think that's good. But also,
oh my goodness,
the Russell Wilson contract.
Yeah.
Vikings, Bills, Packers, Eagles, and Tampa all had over $60 million in dead money.
All the good NFC teams.
Yeah.
So they are spending cash over cap to build better rosters. And maybe if you are hoping that the Cowboys follow the lead of others, which they do at certain times, maybe that will make the Cowboys realize they should do that. But unlikely. So.
Well, I would root for the Texans going forward, Landry, but I have a friend on the other team.
Oh, look at this!
So,
Who's your friend? Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, he's a quarterback.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. You could have said I'm a Mahomes guy. That was just.
Well, they filmed a commercial
I was in
together.
A commercial with him.
I saw it. It was damn good. Good grab.
He has
good
caught
grab.
a
Kind of
caught
could have
a
stayed
pass.
on your feet, I thought, but
He definitely could have.
That's the problem with
Sold it.
bringing that up.
Sold it.
Is it's the coolest thing that ever happened to me, and it's tied in with a very embarrassing thing that Blake will never forget, and apparently Landry either. So.
Kind of looked like Smalls from Sandlot catching that first one, man. Honestly, if we're being honest, like it looked a lot like the football version of Smalls from Sandlot. If we're being completely honest.
And Landry, he has the gall to blame it on shoes because his shoes were too big.
Hey, did you guys know Landry's appearance today is brought to you by Fairlease? What's that website again?
Fairlease.org.
Okay, fairlease.org.
We go to the locker room.
Don't you want to?
By fairlease.org.
Don't you want them to like say that the Dumb Zone brought you there, something like that?
Yes. If you click on the
There's
website, fairlease.org, get request a quote,
thing,
and you will see.
Should always make sure
Dumb
people
Zone.
do that.
That's right.
Landry, are you hanging out with us as we do the news and stuff, or are you leaving?
Whatever. I'm chilling. I just got back from NRG, so whatever you guys want, I'm here.
He's already done his TV hit for the day. So he's good.
Well, hang for the news because Tito's Handmade Vodka is sponsoring the news. Distilled from the first legal distillery in Texas and founded by sixth-generation Texan Bert Tito Beveridge.
Incredible.
His last name is Beveridge. Tito's is American-made at its best. Since selling the first case in 1997, Tito's has come in a standard bottle with a modest paper label, so all you pay for is the high-quality vodka inside. Simple, smooth, mixes with anything. Tito's is America's favorite vodka for a reason. 6 times distilled till it's just right, naturally gluten-free. Tito's is a high-quality spirit made for the smoothest martinis and the best Bloody Marys. Beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its communities and do good for dogs. It is the vodka for dog people, after all. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Learn more at titosvodka.com. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Incorporated, Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, distilled from corn. Copyright 2025. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
Here's Jake with the Dumb Zone News.
How you like that?
I like it quite a bit. You guys keeping track of what's going on over in Keller?
Yeah, splitting into, 2 school districts?
They're trying. Do you know about this, Dan?
A little bit from social media.
Yeah. And
like it seems there's nefarious goings on.
Well, this is a world that I don't want to. How old's your spawn? How old's your kid, Landry?
16 months.
16 months. You're a ways away.
He's still in the months phase.
Yeah.
When does that end?
2?
But even
1.5?
I think it does end at 2, but it feels weird to me. Like Carter is now 2 and 2 months. But when we meet another family and they're like, "Oh, our kid's 2," but I know they're about to be 3, I want to be like, "Actually, he's only 2 and 2 months. He's the same height, but he's actually bigger."
Yeah, he's younger.
You know what I mean?
He's doing better than your kid.
Yeah, I just got to let you know that. But no,
my daughter's 240 months.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that.
It's a lot of months, bro.
It is a lot of months.
20 years, right? 20 years.
But the point very good. The point I was going to make was just when you talk about social media and a story like this is posters heaven. The school board, the PTA, this sort of thing. If you think people have hot opinions about like the national general election, wait till there's a controversial issue regarding the school board. Facebook servers can't handle it. And that's how I was made aware of this, actually, is a listener of ours being like, go check out these Facebook groups. So in Keller, their board president says that this discussion about a split is simply a reshaping. He says that, like other districts across the state, there are unprecedented challenges facing KISD. Other districts are closing campuses, cutting programs, and he says, why don't we just reshape it? Now, the details are not publicly confirmed, but the rumors are basically Pori's over there, us over here. Mm-hmm. we're splitting you down 377, which ironically
literally
does
the tracks.
Have a track.
Yeah, the other side of the tracks.
To it, yeah.
Which is the good side.
My family actually lives in Keller. My mom and stepdad, they actually went down that side of the woods. So they're kind of. I don't think they're invested in this, but they're right there. I don't know what side of the tracks though.
I think it would be east of 377 is considered the good part, right?
Okay, so you're going to put the Indians on the west side of the tracks?
Let me look at this. Keller High School is on the east side.
Oh, because they're the Keller Indians.
So the Indians get to stay on the east side.
Yes.
And what's going to be the west side?
Fossil Ridge?
Cowboys?
Is it Fossil Ridge?
I would think it would be Fossil Ridge.
You can't have the Cowboys and the Indians.
Come on, man. That'd be fun.
Same school district, can you?
It'd be fun.
City.
Or you call the west side the Redskins.
Okay, yeah.
Redskins and Indians.
So the discussion will continue Thursday, the school board, during an executive session. Those meetings not open to the public. And that was like a lot of what I was reading about on Facebook is like, hey, they're meeting in private. They're trying to cook all this up. They're denying that this is even happening. Mm-hmm. The trustees, 2 of them have voiced their opinion saying they are blindsided and shocked. Decisions of this magnitude require a blank debate. Go, Dan.
Gosh, darn it. I don't know.
It's the size of the debate. Robust.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Community input and careful consideration. Robust really only gets used for debate and maybe budget. But yeah, this one's pretty obvious if you look at the economics and the demographics of the schools in question and the neighborhoods in question.
So the thought is that then the school on the east side will be nicer, and
it's just a smaller version of Robinhood, right? Or whatever they call the Texas State thing, where you have some of your funds are subjected to being shared across the state. Well, all of your funds within district are shared, right? So they're like, we're in this district, we've got this area over here, this area over here. Why are we giving them money? It's like, well, because we're in the same school district.
The thing I love about Facebook is they still use like memes from 5 or 10 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And so somebody posted the I'm in a complicated relationship with Keller Independent School District. Like that was 10 years ago.
That's a banger. Is your mom a big poster, Landry? She Facebook mom?
Hell no, absolutely not. She's kind of like a she kind of overstalks a little bit, like where she knows details about more people than she probably should, but nah, she's not.
Girls
she's not
used to date.
Yeah, it's like she knows the background and all that type. She doesn't creep smartly either. So you bring the wife home for the first time. Oh, I saw you're from here. It's like, yeah, okay. Well, you could have just like known that and like had the conversation. So yeah, she's definitely a Facebook stalker, but not a poster. Is yours?
No, she is not at all. Now she is aware of it because of her business, but I think she chills out on like if there's a negative comment, she doesn't take that well.
Yeah.
But about you?
Or about like her company.
Does she ever read like what like maybe like listeners will say about you and get pissed?
I don't think so.
She's just kind of numb to that now.
And she knows it. Yeah.
Yeah. Not that it's like a frequent thing. I just know that like some loved ones are like, I can't believe that it's, Yeah.
It was like happens. Now what did happen was my dad got really into message boards when my brother was playing college football.
Oh man.
And that was a volatile situation.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
People will never understand the art of the old school message board.
George
It
Clooney.
was the best thing in the world. God, it was so good.
Oh, I know you were a Shaggy Bevo or a Go Horn.
Yeah. Hook'em.com. Like, like the recruiting. And that was when we didn't know much about recruiting. So like the speculation was just so high. Fire Mac Brown, Greg Davis sucks, like all of that. Like that was the prime.
You know what I was thinking about the other day that for some reason makes me think about you, and this is inside really only for like 5 of us, but I was watching the Texas game the other night and I was missing Mad Dog.
Man, Mad Dog on the sidelines, leading him out the tunnel with the handlebar. I feel like he got a bad rap. Mad Dog was the man.
Texas used to have a strength and conditioning coach, Dan, that looked like Mr. T. But bigger. He was huge.
He looked like Mark Henry and Mr. T in one.
Yeah, and he black guy, obviously. He would wear sunglasses, and he had the handlebar mustache. And he was the get-back coach. He was basically like Dom.
Where is he now?
He left with Mac, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
how do you lose a guy like that?
The shirt that was like so small. He's probably wearing a medium, and he probably needs like a
300 pounds. It was awesome.
He got fat after a while, though. It did kind of seem like he was getting a little bit more soft in the stomach on the back end, like of the Mac days. But man, he was just one of those attractions.
I love seeing Dom down there.
He's got a headset.
He does. He does. He was walking Darius Slade.
What is that too?
Who knows? Touchdown Brothers. This is always a fun one. The rejected personalized license plates in Texas.
Okay.
Oh, no.
More than 2,300 rejections in 2024.
Are you grandfathered in if you already have one? Like, if I tried to get Chappie, just because I know there's fierce...
for Dragon,
but just for everything. I saw somebody it was something that was supposed to say twins, but it was TVVINS because obviously they couldn't get twins.
Okay.
So, like, I just wondered if people are sitting by.
God, that's gay.
Yeah.
It really is.
Like to be like, oh, I had twins. What can I do next?
But right. But like Tony trying to get into the lottery for Dancing with the Stars tickets or something. He's like refreshing every 2 seconds. Like, I wonder if you already have Chappie, if you just are grandfathered in to get Chappie. Go on with the
no
story here.
I'm saying, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, but can you do, now that you know that's approved, can you work off that? Like, can you do Chappie 10 or something? I don't know.
What would yours be if you could get anything?
Dude, it would probably have to be after my favorite Premier League team.
I do hot piece because I want people to drive up to see if I'm a hot piece.
Yeah.
Because don't you do that sometimes? If you're you probably don't.
No, but I mean there is a
people, but
yeah, that's true. There is a level of intrigue when you see one.
But it's a certain I gotta see who's driving this car.
You got to check it out for sure. Especially when they have if you honk, I shoot or something like that, like the bumper stickers, all that. You just kind of want to see, what does this guy look like? Like pull up to him at the light. I'm reloading while you're honking, whatever that.
That's a good one.
That what it is. You're like, I gotta see what this cat looks like. Usually looks the same. I will say that, but got to see what they look like.
Hot wrist, I might go with.
I was actually thinking that when you said that.
Yeah.
I don't know, if BLKESUX was available or something, if I could just
here we go,
just something so that people know there's a guy who hates Blake. I honestly I've never thought about it. Again, to reference my dad in college football, Chappie was not his first license plate PL.
What did he have?
He had 2 lane 7. Didn't really think it through, as we were talking about the message board thing.
Oh, because now everybody knows.
Yeah, I mean the most
quarterback's dad.
If you think
egg this car,
if you think the backup quarterback is the most popular guy in town, well, wait until the team is terrible. And it's fun when you're the backup quarterback, but the fact is the team is terrible, and probably every quarterback's gonna suck, and your time will come, and the fan base will want him replaced, and they will see your car out there that says 2 lane 7. Never had a KTCK son plate to my recollection. But let's go through a couple here that Fox News highlights, Fox 4 News. Some of them will be very obvious that got rejected. Let's see here.
I'm scared.
82 attempts at some version of Hawk Tua.
Okay.
We're not doing Hawk Tua?
Should have known.
82, that's significant.
It really is.
A lot of Trump.
Why not Hawk Tua?
I guess because it references oral sex.
Or it's copyrighted or something.
Or it's taken.
Right?
Yeah, maybe. But because that came out this
These
year.
are rejected, yeah.
Yeah, these are rejected. So, yeah, so it's indecent, vulgar, derogatory. Sounds like my Blake one is out. That's a direct negative instruction or command to a person. Anything related to drugs, a pattern that could be misread by law enforcement. And you can actually just go to the website and submit to find out, I guess.
How about DZTV?
That's not a bad idea.
I was thinking, y'all should do something Dumb Zone. I bet y'all could get that.
Why don't we all 3 do car wraps for 6 months?
Yeah, y'all go first.
I said we all 3.
What do you mean? What is a car wrap?
You got a QR code on there. I was laughing so hard about this over the weekend. The car wrap is just that's another thing that we looked into. Some friends did it for money in college.
I wonder if any listener would do that.
You're already driving.
What if we paid? What would we pay?
Free sub?
We will give you a free sub if you will put on a car wrap.
We'll give you an annual if you'll do it for a negotiable a month.
How
6
about
weeks?
the whole time?
The whole year. It's worth more than that.
Is it?
Yeah.
You have a free sub as long as you have it on.
We'll give them a VIP.
Okay. Well, let's work on this. That was something that they did that you could get money for in college. It's all right, I'm already driving. I'll put the hero place on my car.
I would have absolutely done that.
I had friends who did it.
Yeah.
Did you have friends who gave plasma?
Oh, yeah. Dan was a plasma
I did it
guy.
once, yeah.
You were? Just once?
It was a terrible, terrible experience.
Plasma, semen.
Just the cold.
You got to get a blanket.
They put it back. They take your blood, but then they put it back in you.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it feels really cold going back in.
Dude, I knew a girl who did that so much in college that by the end of the semester, it looked like she had gangrene or she was like a junkie. Her whole arm.
But the best way to get money, do that, then call your grandma and tell her you just gave plasma.
And then she's like, "Oh, you must be struggling. Here's more."
She sends you a couple $100.
No, but the car wrap thing I was laughing about was there's a really quaint old bakery in Grapevine. It's right there by Main Street. It's been there for a pretty long time. Just nice. It's a nice little chill place. And I was driving by there the other day, and leaving their parking lot was a Cybertruck that was wrapped with a bread house.
Everyone's using Cybertrucks now to do this.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen them for like a really aggressive remodeling company or like tactical plumbing and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, it's a guy with a big dick who wants you to know about his business or whatever. This place is like, again, run by old people, and it's very chill. And it's like, what if we get the most aggressive douchebag car ever to sell muffins?
But it does demand attention, though. The Cybertruck still demands enough attention to where it's very, very productive. Like, you still find yourself, like, just drawn to that car. It hadn't really worn off.
And I'm telling you guys about it. I wouldn't have done that for a Corolla.
I'd like to drive one. There must be something to it.
Yeah, it's partially status, right? Like, you're just letting people know, hey, I got the cool thing. That's got to be a big part of it.
Yeah, I haven't heard anyone say it's not the best thing ever, which makes me think it's just not genuine, you know, feedback. I feel like Dan would give like a fair assessment of the experience. I'm sure you could set that up somehow. Seems like they're becoming more and more frequent.
They're very prevalent, yeah.
Well, we're in the hot spot.
We're
Just
in
to
the
let you know.
Cybertruck.
And driving around the
Hot
Metroplex,
zone.
I can tell you that this back here is about as...
there's not a ton in Mesquite.
Yeah, here's a photo they showed a rejected one here. It's just my H8RS. You can't reference your haters. I know that's tough for Landry. Here's one, and then the word felony. Guess you get.
That's a warning. That should be good.
I know. That's what I was thinking. This one, 4, the digit 4, FS, y'all. So for fuck's sake, y'all, you can't do that. There's a bunch of them that are CKNBUTT.
Chicken butt?
I assume that means chicken butt, which should be okay, but perhaps the guy at TxDOT read cock in butt. Thought, boy, that's disgusting.
I feel like they're way too harsh on these grades.
I know. How about this one?
I was expecting a lot worse when you said this.
Totally. Someone just went straight up with dumb guy, and that got rejected.
That would hurt our dumb zone thoughts. But
yeah, but
at least
DZZ, though. Yeah, that could play. I don't know. Here's a funny one. EV sucks.
Hey.
Assuming that you're not just against Everton, but the soccer club, but it's really more that you just want to let people know that gasoline rules. F around, find out type stuff. I don't know. The alphanumeric pattern 69 is prohibited unless used with the full year 1969 or combination in reference to a vehicle. So you could probably have like MSTNG69.
This sounds like the government censoring me, telling me I can't do things.
Without a doubt.
The hell? I thought this is a state of freedom.
So like you can't get like 69, bro.
No,
something.
I don't think so.
Dude, that'd be so prevalent.
I love 69.
Yeah, I don't know what I would never do this, so it's hard for me to answer Landry's question about what I would do. I would never do this, ever, unless I lost a bet. What would yours be, Landry? Something like, I don't know, like Brian Boddicker hat tip or reference or something, or
33 BB, 33 BB, Deville, Duncanville, represent something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't put my name. That's always been a little bit.
Because you could do locker room like LCKRRRM or something if you couldn't get the vowels.
Yeah, I don't know. This is I've never really. You had friends in high school who would do it like their name or something like that, and it's just it never was cool to me. Like it never seemed like something that was that cool.
You mean it wasn't cool when one of your former coworkers had his show name as a license plate, and then the show name got changed, and he never changed it?
It's got to be tough.
Tell me what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this one out, too.
It always cracked me up that John Jock Taylor had a license plate that said J-Dub City, and then his show name got changed, and he kept the license plate for a while.
Well, you have to. Dude, you've paid for the year.
He is... JJ, that's on brand. Like the license plate is made for him. I actually talked to him the other day. He bought a Porsche like on cheap, Like I forgot how much he got it. Like the license plate is made for Jock. Mm-hmm. The selfie, the creation of the selfie and the license plate was made for him.
He's correct.
That was the most only you understand reference that I've ever heard in my life.
For sure.
We're deep on him today. And we'll wrap up with this. Have you guys seen the mugshot for former NFL player and for a brief time Cowboys defensive end Robert Quinn?
Dude, yeah. He got messed up.
Yeah. Let me see if I can show to the camera here so Dan can see it. Can you see that from here?
What's the... Oh, okay.
Like, he's got scab face.
What's the deal?
He was trying to leave the scene of an accident involving 4 cars. This happened late Friday, early Saturday. The fire department arrives on the scene. This is in South Carolina. Do you remember him, by the way? Like, being here? Like, he came from the Rams and...
Seems like a really short time, right?
It was, but he was really good in a very short period of time.
Did they trade him?
I think they ended up just not bringing him back. But he was a player here. Let's see.
Yeah, he had a good year.
He had 11.5 sacks in 14 games in his 1 year in Dallas.
What year was it? It was before Aldon Smith?
Yes, this was their first. Yes, but it was from the makers of Aldon Smith. Yeah, 2019, he had 11.5 sacks in 14 games. Like, he went nuts, and then the Bears are like, what if we pay you? And then he did have a pretty good year in Chicago in 2011. But back to the story, yes. He is trying to leave the scene. Multiple people are seeing him around the crash site at the time. And, yeah, he caused the accident. He's had 4 other... Like, he's had a DUI. He's had an arrest after 4 vehicles were found, unoccupied vehicles found, damage in a subdivision that he lived in. And they just pieced all this together, I guess, through cameras to show that, yeah, he just smashed into a bunch of cars in a parking garage and then tried to leave. Officers asked Quinn to get out of the fill-in-the-blank. What kind of car was it? Does anybody want to play?
Escalade.
No, but you're on the right track. It is a Dodge Challenger. Dang it. Quinn resisted by holding the door to the car. Police removed Quinn from the vehicle, and he was escorted to the ground, is in the police report.
That's a tough one. I might need some help there. I might need you to help me out there, sir.
Yeah. Escorted to the ground.
Can you help me get to the ground?
He was with a woman. Officers interviewed that woman who said they had met that night at G Club,
okay,
which is a gentleman's club where she works earlier that night.
G Club, South Carolina?
Yeah.
Man, South Carolina has some crazy clubs, and the only reason I know this is because Jadeveon Clowney's dad got arrested at a strip club. And no lie, it is the building is smaller than any shack you've ever seen in your life. Like, I don't even know how they even got the girls in there. But Jadeveon Clowney's dad, I guess he fell asleep and then there was an incident. South Carolina has some rough clubs.
I'm looking at pictures of this one right now, and it's pretty small. G Club currently with a 3.6 Google review rating.
It's a good review, I bet.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
So I've been to Clowney's dad club, and look at that one. It is crazy.
And with that, Dan, Landry, Blake, there's your news.
The Dumb Zone News. Like and subscribe.
Oh, he was arrested for attempted murder?
Yeah. Yeah, and look at the club. It's his dad's name was Chili Bean. It was called Crazy Horse, and it's smaller than any school portable.
Well, this place is small.
We have a couple of viewer mail birthdays before today in history. Dear Uncle F. Hole.
That's license plate denied.
Yeah, for sure.
Today I'm celebrating my son's 5th birthday, remembering Jake's rating of my daughter's name when she was born last year. He said her name sounded like a disease.
That's not kind.
That sounds like prehab, Jake.
Need a rating on my son's name now. Nicholas Avery.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Is it because of Nicolas Cage?
No,
accept it?
But I just want to make sure he's not trying to do some sort of Steve Kerr thing and have the kid go by Nick A. Like when Steve Kerr named his kid Nick.
More Blake.
Thank you, Blake.
Would like to hear a couple of drops by Blake. Oh, here's one of them he wanted.
George Clooney.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You might have heard a little preview of that earlier. Mm-hmm. Leaders are Earth Grounding, Shit, 5 Minute Stranger, and Dutch. We're having his birthday at a giant kid's place this weekend. Thanks for the suggestion from Devin. Again, I don't know my subscriber number because I'm not gay.
Okay.
Dear Gash Guzzler. Gash Gush Guzzler. Monday is the 47th birthday of my good friend and DF, Wesley. He hates the vaginal greetings that are now trending.
What is that? What's happening on the internet that I don't know about?
His leaders are...
Oh, just these in general?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
His leaders are Jake going from unkempt to well-kempt, White Settlement Olympics, and Benjamin Wong White.
Don't know it.
I am a local gastroenterologist, so if you need an expert on anything digestive or if you want to hear stories about all the weird stuff people have swallowed or shoved up their behinds, I am your man. From Eric Hill, M.D.
Okay. Let's get him on.
He sent his number.
Talk butt stuff.
And call him.
It depends on what you think at the time here. If you want his number.
Right here. I'm looking at him.
You want his number?
I thought by me not moving or asking for
Oh,
it.
okay.
What part of this whole thing here do you...
Uncle Hotmail, it's the birthday of former Bad Radio intern and Ticket Weekend board op Josh Kerber. He is turning Nick Van Exel minus Jason Terry plus Clay Thompson. His leaders are Jake, CeeDee Lamb shoulder, and Brandon Aubrey 20-yard field goals.
That's a good dude right there.
Mm-hmm.
I said Nick Van Exel minus Jason Terry?
Plus
Clay?
Yeah, so we're just arriving back to square one.
It's a great bit we have here.
Not a great bit.
But Landry would actually love that bit as
No, you're right.
Guy.
Yeah.
No, I'm just trying to figure out that feels like he's not even a teenager yet.
New
P.S. I moved to New York last year and I work at the World Trade Center. You're not going to believe this, but there is a 9/11 memorial here just like the one in Grapevine. Thanks from Day 1 DF Adam Weschler.
They got one up there too, huh?
Yeah, apparently they're copying
crazy.
Grapevine.
It's crazy.
There's a 9/11 memorial in Grapevine? Where's this at?
Oh, dude.
Next time you're in town, we'll take
built our whole
pilgrimage
show
there.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in front of a Tex-Mex restaurant and available for rent office space. And the impetus behind it is simply that there's an airport there nearby.
What month is it on our calendar? I have a calendar.
I don't know. Why don't you just flip through and see which one we randomly decided to put that on?
I thought you really had a big way to do this. So the month of September, if you order the calendar at
dumbzonemerch.com.
Can you see this, Landry?
I can.
This
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There's my
Unbelievable.
we were in front of the Tex-Mex restaurant in the night.
Do those guys look like they're forgetting or never?
No. It's living on.
Yeah.
No doubt. Shout out to Grapevine.
Shout out to Grapevine, indeed. So today in history will be brought to us by Frankel and Frankel, correct? Are we agreeing on that? Can we agree on one thing today?
Absolutely. 817-214-333-3333. They are the experts, the professionals, the ones you can trust when it comes to personal injury. If you are involved in a car accident, just make sure you're safe and then call the Frankels. Like we've talked about with some of these other industries, insurance getting involved, that can be a pain in the butt. But with the Frankels, they'll deal with all that. The other guy, the other lady's insurance may be contacting you. They are not on your side. Don't even engage in that game. Just let the Frankels handle it for you. They are a family-run business, client-first mission, 214-817-333-33. Don't get screwed Get the Frankles.
Hey, Claire, did you just get rear-ended by that truck and it wasn't your fault?
I did. Cornelius Falcon, what should I do?
Pick up your phone and start pressing 3s, you ungrateful monster.
Frankles and Frankles.
Thank you, Danny.
The Dumb Zone presents Today in History.
So it is Monday, January 13th.
Hey, you think it's time to fire Sark, Landry?
I didn't even sleep after that game.
Is that the last team that you're a real fan of?
That's it, yeah.
I figured so.
That's it. Yeah. That sucked.
Did you go?
No, I did not. I avoided it. Stayed here. I had to go to the Texans game the next day, so yeah.
That's an old man thing to do.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Looking ahead to tomorrow, got to make sure I have my. That's what I was doing with the Shane
concert
I'll do that on Saturday. I was like, I got the stream tomorrow night.
Dude, if I seem a little off today, it's because I tried to do kid birthday and comedy show on Saturday.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I'll be feeling that for a couple days.
So
to be honest, bro.
That's making me happy.
No, you're not alone.
No, you're not alone. And it's kind of weird because the COVID expiration date has expired where you can kind of back out of things and you could just say COVID for like a 3 or 4 year stretch. It's kind of gone. Now it's just baby. Like, that baby, daughter, wife.
Dude, babies are great.
Oh, yeah.
To get out of things, they're the best.
Oh, yeah. Little kids are awesome. I knew there was a reason for having kids. Like, my wife kept wanting kids, and I couldn't figure out why. And then, yes, once you could just get out of anything because of kids. What a force field. This day in 1974, DFW International Airport officially opened. It was called DFW Regional Airport. And then they changed that in 1985. On this day in 1982, Air Florida 737 crashed into Washington, D.C.'s 14th Street Bridge, fell into the Potomac while trying to take off during a snowstorm, killing 78 people, including 4 motorists on the bridge. 4 passengers and 1 flight attendant survived.
Man.
That's good. So Dan's dream, Landry.
They were in the bathroom running a
gangbang Mile High Club. Dan's dream is to be the lone survivor of a tragedy. Plane crash, preferably.
I wouldn't say a dream, but like...
If it was going to happen...
Yeah.
And you're
going to live. Like, would you just YOLO after that? And just
I feel like you just feel indestructible.
But if half the plane lives, then he doesn't feel cool enough.
No,
I agree with that.
I don't want me and 30 other people.
Right.
You're still in a nice percentage, though.
Yeah, but if you're one of the 5 out of 90, motivational speaking money is already there.
5 is kind of cool. And then you could be in a group text for the rest of your life.
Or you just take the air thing to the ground, and you're like, why don't we keep this going? It worked for us up there.
Probably be good for our podcast, too.
God, no doubt.
All right, I'll try.
Okay.
I'll work on
That'll
that.
Get you out of the car wrap.
Let's see, where am I? On this day in 1991, 42 people killed in a brawl and stampede during a soccer match in Johannesburg, South Africa. However, it says here that they were only soccer fans.
Hell yeah, bitches!
That's a lighter. Lighter up.
Hell yeah!
And that guy threw a chair against the wall.
Soccer tragedy. This is the day in 2008 that the Cowboys were the number 1 seed in the NFC. Played the Giants. And R.W. McCorders picked off Tony Romo in the end zone with 9 seconds left. And the Giants end up going to the NFC Championship game. 21-17 win over the Cowboys at Texas Stadium.
I was at that game. I drove 5 hours to go to that game. I was out of town.
Were you sad?
I was pretty frustrated. That was remember the Cabo? That was Cabo Central. Did y'all have some fun with the Cabo storyline, Dan?
Oh, we didn't even talk about it.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Is that Creighton lost it in the lights?
Yeah, the wide open slant.
That's
Creighton.
brutal.
Dude, Cabo continues to be an argument to this day.
Do you side with them on that, or?
I side with they shouldn't be going to Cabo.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the same. It is not the same.
The only thing bad for it was they took Jessica Simpson's dad. Like, if that cut hadn't gone, you could actually...
No, the worst thing is they brought Barbie Carpenter.
Yeah, but at least he has a girl. You took Joe Simpson with you. Like, if it was like a couple's, like, relax, okay. What is Joe Simpson? He had, like, the earrings and the bleached blonde hair, her creepy dad.
Yeah, Dan read her book.
I read her whole book, yeah. It's great.
He's a bad guy.
Yeah.
He's a bad guy. But, yeah, no, it
she
sucks.
Turned on him?
She didn't really rip him, no.
No, just describing how it was bad enough, I think. But it makes you feel like an old man. Because I don't think they need to just be out there lifting weights, throwing a football through the tire for 13 days. But you can't go to Cabo.
You can also wait 2 weeks to go to Cabo. Right. You can wait like a month till after the Super Bowl to go to Cabo. You don't say, yeah, but I could just look at film there just the same. You can't do that just the same.
Yeah.
In a beautiful place like that with your girlfriend saying, hey, come on, what are you going to just sit there watching that film all day? I mean...
I can't believe Witten did it, too, of all people.
That's the thing. That might keep him from getting the job.
On this day in 2018, it was a false alarm warning of a ballistic missile headed for Hawaii.
Dude, I remember...
Sent the islands into a panic.
There's a very long New Yorker article about this.
Officials apologized, said the alert was sent when someone hit the wrong button during a shift change.
Yeah.
I remember Hawkeye, I think his sister lived there or something, and he was very worried about that. But everything's fine now.
Crazy.
And on this day in 2021, the U.S. government carried out its first execution of a female inmate in 70 years.
Good. Glass ceiling. Shattered with a bullet.
Lisa Montgomery was the lady that was killed. She had strangled a pregnant woman in Missouri and cut the baby from her womb.
Good.
Oh, my God.
Wonder where that kid is. Is that kid doing all right? This is a very, what was that show? Ozark. I think they did that in Ozark.
Don't know it, but I always thought that show seemed pretty unbelievable, and maybe I need to reevaluate that.
Right. Now he is called her miracle baby.
That's other birthdays today include former Ranger Akinora Otska.
Otska, yeah.
53. He was part of the Chris Young trade they were trying to sell to us. Like, no, this guy's... Connor McDavid, 28.
Trying to get an update on this baby.
The baby that was cut out of the womb.
It didn't die right away.
By Lisa Montgomery. But it's not doing great?
I'm going to find out. You keep doing your thing.
Okay.
But it didn't die. It's alive?
I think it might be.
I think.
I mean, she had to have gotten punished because it died, right?
I think he married.
No, he
married
killed the mom.
baby Jessica.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, in this little portal we have.
Okay, Russell, I don't know how to pronounce this name. You guys are big Longhorn fans.
Maryland.
The Longhorn punter from the late 70s.
Oh,
Russell Erxleben.
Erxleben. He is 68 today.
He went to college with my mom at UT, yeah.
So check
they might
this
have made
out.
out one time. I don't know.
Nice.
Has the longest field goal in NCAA history, 67 yards, but it was on a tee.
It was on a tee.
They used to be able to do that.
Yep. He went to the Saints, right? I think he played for the Saints after that, if I'm not mistaken. Russell Erxleben.
So because he was a kicker / punter, and because this is the 1970s, in 1979, he was the 11th overall pick in the draft by the Saints.
Wow. Flip the field, baby.
Hey, we could save a roster spot. He can do both.
Oh, my gosh. We thought Janikowski was bad, which actually might have ended up being a decent pick when you think about it. But
right, he hung around for like 15, 20 years, right? But
yeah, he was there for a while.
So Russell Erxleben,
11th pick, wow.
Pretty soon lost that kicking job and was just a punter. So they pretty much drafted a punter with the 11th overall pick. And you wonder, how are the Saints always bad? He later became a currency investor, 6-year career. So he's out of the NFL in 1985. Becomes an investor. Convicted of securities fraud in 1999. Went to prison. Released in 2005. Convicted again of investment fraud in 2014. Jeez. And went to prison again for 7.5 years.
Man.
Like he's kind of did the Big Nate thing. Like, they won't be. There's no way they'll be following me now. I've already been to prison. Let me do some more investment fraud. And he kept doing it.
Big Nate, man. His reasoning for the second time, though, was nice, though. I'll give him credit. That's one of the best quotes in Cowboys history.
What did he say?
He said, you do it. They said, why would you got busted the first time. Why the hell would you do it a second time? And he said, to make up for the money you lost the first time.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Pretty logical.
That's why I'm betting tonight.
Yeah, exactly. You're chasing the Sunday slate on Monday night.
It's the Monday night wager.
By the way, I can't get you like a current picture, but that baby's very much alive and is like 20 now.
Healthy?
Yeah, I think so. I believe so. And her birthday is on the same day that her mom died. Obviously.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing to just have to think about every time around. And the murderer, her husband had the baby at the time, and they had to come to him and be like, "That's not your baby," because his wife had somehow pretended and convinced people that she was pregnant for 9 months. Obviously, there was something going on with their relationship where she was able to disappear and come back and be like, "Look, I'm not pregnant anymore. Here's our baby." Cops show up at his house, and they're like, "That's not your kid."
Get a little Ozempic.
Right.
All of a sudden.
Damn, dude, that's crazy.
Golly.
So the kid's 20 now.
Don't.
I'm just saying, so the kid's 20 now. That's.
I already told you I don't have a photo, and I looked.
That's as legal as you can get.
You want to talk about being appreciative.
I am kind of curious, though, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Look, we're all curious.
At what point do you bring that up? Like, if she's on a date, like, is that? Do you work your way into that story?
Like, when does she tell you?
Yeah, like, is that like the first thing? It's kind of a lot.
It is. Well, maybe. Lot.
Yeah, it's when you're asking about so-and-so's mom. Yeah, your mom.
Oh, your parents? Well, my mom actually.
When did she go? Oh, she died during childbirth. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
How did it happen? Well, yeah, it's tough.
Did you say that she'd been faking a pregnancy?
I did.
Okay.
Nate Silver, 46.
Up and down decade for old Nathan. He's Substack guy now.
Natalia Dyer is 27.
Who?
Of course, that's Nancy Wheeler in Stranger Things.
Oh, my God.
She's uncomfortably skinny.
Smoke monster.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus, 64.
Incredible.
Is she funny?
Nice.
She is funny, I think, but subjective.
64, huh?
She's also beautiful, getting hotter by the year.
Wasn't she in that? Wasn't there a movie that she was in where she was pretty good? It was a Netflix movie.
Really?
What wasn't it? You People or something like that? Was she the mom?
Yeah. Okay, I've seen that here.
Yeah. She was really good in that. I thought that was a pretty good movie. Is that bad?
No. I have heard good things.
Oh, you never saw it?
No, it's the movie where Jonah Hill's dating Ice Cube's daughter or something. Or no, not Ice Cube. That was racist. Eddie Murphy.
Ooh, yeah. You know, same guy.
Wait, I've seen something recently with Jonah Hill dating Ice Cube's daughter.
That is from 21 Jump Street. I'm pretty sure that's an old clip.
Okay.
Yeah. See. So yeah, it's not that bad of a. It's not that bad of a thought. Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
Liam Hemsworth is 35.
Who's that?
Actor. He was in Independence Day. Must have been a kid, right?
Yeah,
He's 35 today.
They must have. Did they remake it? Yeah, they remade it.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, in 2016, Independence Day Resurgence. We do not recognize that as part of canon.
Do you refuse to see that, like the second Point Break?
Yeah, both just didn't happen to me.
Yeah. And William Hung, 42.
Oh yeah, legend.
Boy,
what a time.
There just is an entire file of culture that's just Dan. I don't really know how to describe it fully, but
what do you mean?
I just feel like you
early
probably
2000s?
let's check this out. This guy's not bad.
William Hung?
Yeah, like
the American Idol.
A lot. Anything with a MIDI track behind it.
Bob Baffert, 72.
Is that hockey?
That's the horse trainer.
Oh, the guy who looks
gray-haired-
like Ashley Schaefer from Eastbound and Down. And all his horses were dying from his roids.
Yeah, maybe got suspended for a couple years.
Yeah, that's
but then
good
he's
stuff.
back and winning the Derby again. Born on this Day Now Dead. No one I think is important enough to mention here. Dead on this Day Still Dead.
Sorry.
Is that William Hung?
No.
Siegfried Fischbacher. He's from Siegfried and Roy. Or is it Wah? Robbie Knievel.
Danny.
Died on this day in 2023.
Your guy.
And Tom Shales.
Of the Barnett.
He is a writer.
Thank you, also. Yep.
And he's the author of that SNL book. That kick-ass SNL book, that really long.
I thought that James guy wrote that. James Andrew Miller.
You know what? Now that you say that.
Oh, he co-wrote it with him.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
There you go. We're both right.
As always.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And that was Today in History.
That was a fun day, guys.
Landry Locker from Houston. Anything to promote? Anything? Closing
Locker
remarks?
Locker room on YouTube. New angle to this Texans game, by the way. This is something nobody's talking about. Patrick Mahomes had another kid today. So I don't know if that makes Chiefs more likely or not, but they just had another kid today. Maybe that's why the line's 8. Who knows?
Listen, that's coverage you're going to get nowhere but the Locker Room on YouTube. Go check it out. It's got a cool studio.
All right.
Adios, mofo.
We gotta go before this becomes a zoo.
Thank you for watching my video. Subscribe and type for my name if you want to watch more of my videos.
Can I get down so I can? I like the way you work it.
Invigorating.
I got to bag it up. I like the way you work it.
Invigorating.
I got to bag it up. Girl. I like the way you work it.
Invigorating.
I got to bag it up. I like the way you work it.
Invigorating.
I got to bag